Okay, should be good. I'm gonna do a little listen here on my own, but yeah. Welcome back to the Stay Gold channel. On to exciting things, new directors, new movie chest. Yeah, interesting pick this week. So I don't know. Get into it. Let me just do one quick listen before we start.
The theater maybe slowing down, but we don't.
Oh, no. Foot on the gas, baby.
Too many
Fuck 'em.
movies to watch. Too many movies.
All right, we are good. We are gooch. So yeah, I guess should we just roll into our movie chest pick? Ides of
let's do it.
March.
Okay.
Yeah, what number is this? 53 or 54 or something like that? But
I think it's 53
53,
according
yeah.
to like I had adjusted the ongoing sheet.
Okay, cool.
It's like it hadn't been adjusted in like 2 or 3 like sessions. But I think it's 53. The last one on there was 52, but that was Casablanca, so I don't know if we had done one since. I couldn't remember.
Nope.
But
I think Casablanca was last time we did it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
okay, cool. Then
Nice.
yeah, this
Was
should be
it?
53.
I can't remember now. But
Damn.
no, Children
Because
of Men, right?
Casablanca was 52 at least, so.
Children of Men was after it, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
right.
So
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
54. Gotcha. Because
God damn
I
it.
could not remember like what the fuck I watched for like last time.
That's okay.
It's been
Last
a
time
couple
was
weeks.
blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's just get into the movie chest then. The Ides of March. I think we picked, I mean, I didn't pick this one. We kind of have like a amalgamation of picks for now, how we do it, but was it the poster that got you guys on this one? Because I think the poster just sells this movie, I feel like, but
It does.
Honestly, I
was curious
just
when
like
you two both put Ides of March. I was curious what like drove you guys to pick the George Clooney
Yeah.
movie.
I googled
George
it,
Clooney,
saw like
Ryan
a
Gosling.
decent cast. I'm like, fuck it, yeah,
Yeah.
let's throw it on there.
I was like, look, after Barbie, I was like, all right, more Gosling. If I could swing it. I was surprised that it was the one. I figured there'd be more overlap with some of the hotter
I
picks.
thought there would be too. Yeah.
It's kind of a wild card one, but hey, you know what? Fuck it, that's what the movie chest's about. Getting Randy picks out of the way.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
an
I ended
interesting
up
pick
enjoying
from
it.
last week. I mean, you have the director or a movie that's like so perfectly constructed, and then you have this George Clooney kind of.
He directed it too, right? Like,
Yeah.
and wrote the
heavily
screenplay.
off the script rather than like the directing of it. So it's not really the craft of it, more so just like being invested in the characters and the story. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I
true.
saw at the end it's also based on a play or something, I guess.
something like that.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Some type of, I think it's a stage play or something, but yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. What'd you guys think? I guess first off, what did you guys think? The two that picked it, was it like what you wanted out of it? I guess, or what was the? You're just curious.
I'll defer to Joe on this one.
I mean, so I guess let me just start out by saying the play or whatever this is based on. I'm kind of wondering like if it's set modern day or if it's like set in a different time period and it was adapted to modern day.
Mhm.
But I think like ultimately like I I thought it was fine, but I think like realistically, I should have known this before I picked it. But like any movie or like any media nowadays that's gonna be based on like a presidential campaign set in modern times, I feel like already is putting a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I feel like from the get go, like I'm already kind of like not for it. Um, and also like George Clooney was fine, but he didn't really like do a lot in this movie. I also like just didn't really like Ryan Gosling in this movie. Maybe
I
it's
feel
just
that.
me.
No, I get you. He kind of was like
I don't
trying
know.
hard, but just never really. The word
Yeah,
constipated came to my mind when I was like
that
watching
actually
him.
fits for me somehow.
I don't know why, but like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I don't know. I guess like I was just questioning a lot when I was watching this movie. Like, what's the point? Like, what are you supposed to take away from this movie that
Yeah.
I already don't
Yeah.
know going into this movie? Like, I feel like really the only thing I got after watching this movie was that like there are just like levels to politics. Like it added another level to politics that's just like more fucked up. Like the
Yeah.
campaign process instead of like actual politics that are fucked up. Like it's just like how fucked up the campaign is. Like I don't know. So I guess like it told me about that, but I don't really care about that to be honest. So like I don't know. I guess like I guess what you should get out of this, I regret this pick. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I have pretty low expectations for this as well. And yeah, I couldn't tell you why it ended up out of my top 3 picks, but yeah, I don't know. Even there weren't like crazy standout performances. I figured the commentary, like the political commentary, would be good, but the the fucking thesis of this film is just don't fuck the interns, I guess, and you'll be good.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, that is the thesis, I would say, because that's literally like the
Yeah.
statement
That's like what
at the end.
Ryan's
but-
character. Yeah.
Uh,
No.
yeah. I don't know. People are shitty.
Especially in politics, right?
That's I don't know.
You're like getting the worst of the worst.
Yeah. This was, I thought it was a decent movie. You know, it's like well constructed. It's got like good bones in the script, I'd say. Just didn't really do much for me. Like I felt like this was the movie that least provoked me out of like all the movie chest picks we've ever done. And that includes like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean, that's like I didn't feel like I had to like write notes about this movie at all. Or like I just didn't really like reflect on much as I was watching it, I guess. I don't know if that was just me, but I don't know.
I was like hoping for some like, I don't know, not like a mind-blowing revelation, but like some thought-provoking commentary on like the system, I guess. Which I guess it kind of is, because it's like you said, Joe, it's like there's layers and you kind of learn like, you know, people are just like they have the information and people get fucked over with information and everyone's kind of like playing both sides or whatever. And
I guess, but it's
I don't know,
like,
it's like
it was weird because it's
expected, I
like it's not even like politicians. It's just like the campaign managers and shit. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Yeah, shit rolls downhill. Is that the idea? Like, I don't know, people have to deal with like the repercussions of it or something. But yeah, I was wondering too. Has this movie just been completely overshadowed by like House of Cards? You know, and I don't know, because this one it like starts out with like a decent like satirical opening. I thought, with like him at the podium, basically just like talking shit as if like no one was there. You know, like. It kind of like brought me to like Thank You for Smoking a little bit, which we watched a little bit ago.
Dude, I like literally Googled, like I searched that right after I watched the beginning because I'm like, is this like, I wonder if there's any connection between the two, because that's exactly what I thought of too.
It seems like they were going for like a style thing like that, but then the movie kind of just like doesn't ever really bite as much as like Thank You for Smoking does.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't even have like a playful tone as much either. I mean, it shouldn't, but like I don't know. It like towed the line between like entertainment and satire and never really like landed in a camp, you know. And like with like House of Cards and then like Veep also, those took like the two basic tenets of those and like just took them to the extremes and made them the best of those ideas, I'd say. And this is like almost like the precursor to that, because I think it came before both. So like I don't know. It's like I get what they're going for. It just wasn't like it just wasn't that good. What do you think, Alex?
I liked it. I mean, I think that I see that it was nominated for an Oscar for its screenplay, and I totally get that. I think it's a very good script.
It is. It seems like one that was like bouncing around Hollywood, and then like George Clooney was the guy that was like, you know.
It's not like something special to look at. It's not like George Clooney like was beating himself on how he's gonna construct this movie, but he had good bones. And he just needed the characters to drive the story, which I think they did a fine job doing. And I mean, like we have mentioned, I mean, people are shit, politics are shit. Once you're in the mud, you're in the mud. And the statement that Ryan Gosling says, like you guys said, the thesis statement is don't fuck. But like, ain't that some shit, right? I mean, you can do literally anything, but if you fuck the interns, you can't do that. They'll get you for that. That's just a crazy thought. And I mean,
there's something in there, I'd say, as like I don't want to say it's truth, but like I get what they're saying. You know, like
Yeah,
the controversies, like the personal controversies, are the ones that take down politicians rather
definitely.
than like
Absolutely.
business.
And that's
Yeah.
like I getting thought and I, you know, the dark turns that it did take, I was really necessarily expecting, and I kind of
Yeah,
appreciated it that it was took those turns and had the nads to do that. So I was like, oh, this is good. I was along for the journey, and it was pretty well paced. So I enjoyed it. I
it didn't
enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
it didn't feel like an overly long movie. I'd say, I guess, to its
Yeah,
credit, but
I was engaged for most of it. Like you said, the writing was good. Like all the all the dialogue between like Brian's character and like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Paul Giamatti, like it was all like interesting. It like really keeps you in like on the heartbeat of like the campaign and like what's, you know, where kind of pieces lie, and you're trying to figure out like who's got the edge and that kind of thing. So I appreciate for that because it did keep it entertaining. But it just,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I expected to be like left with more, I guess. And
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I don't
I
know.
get that. I mean, I get
Well, I
the
guess like
idea
what?
that like it was kind of, I don't know, meh in comparison to some of the other stuff we watched. But again, I don't think it was a flashy movie. It was just like a
Hmm,
well constructed script that made it on screen,
yeah,
and
it's
Yeah,
just
we got to watch it
the
unfold.
boring nature of like political campaigning was completely
Right.
reflected perfectly because it was just that boring,
Yeah.
you know. No.
Yeah.
What I guess like for the ending, what did you guys take from like the literal end of like Ryan Gosling walking up to like, is he gonna
like the media.
spout the truth? Is that, I mean, I don't know. I kind
That's
of,
the sense I got.
yeah,
But
I didn't really reflect
yeah,
too hard on it. Honestly, I was just like, oh,
I didn't either.
it's a
I
huge,
mean,
huge like dolly, and I was just like, what's
yeah,
his face supposed to tell me? I don't know, but
The way I saw it was like, I mean, he came into this with the like he was all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he was like, "I support this guy, you know, I believe he has to win because he is the one." And then when he finds out that they're all the same and everything's the same and everything's fucked, and he was just like, "Well, if I'm gonna do what I wanna do and climb
mm,
that ladder to get to my end goal, I have to, I guess, die inside or become the hardened piece of shit that everyone else is."
hmm,
And that was him, like, kind of
yeah,
in the end, him just sorting that out in his brain to get back in the zone, you know?
yeah, I guess. I think
yeah.
maybe I just
That
lost something in
mean,
maybe in the performance, but yeah, go ahead.
Maybe.
or just
I mean, there is that part too where he's like talking to Paul Giamatti, and uh, he's just like, "You should get out while you
No, I
still
Yeah,
have a
can.
conscience," you know. So, I mean,
right.
unless you'll turn into me, basically. So, like, yeah, I
Mm,
don't know. Maybe that was like his
he turned into
turn.
him.
Yeah, I don't know.
did say at the beginning
Yeah.
he was gonna try and steal him. Kinda did,
Yeah,
almost did.
I guess like that transformation isn't like full to me because like at the beginning he's not the most bright-eyed, bushy-tailed character that I could have like. I mean, he's like
Yeah,
innocent-ish, but like he's
I
also
think I
like
just had
banging
like
the
a hard
interns
time
himself. So
reading
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah, like
Mm,
that's because like he talks about the governor, or I don't know, whatever his name starts with an M. I don't know.
Morris.
Morris. Yeah.
Yeah, Morris.
the governor.
He's talking about how like he wants him to actually like follow through on the things that he says and like be a good person and like do things that Ryan Gosling's character like believes in. But like I don't really think Ryan Gosling's character is a good person. So,
No.
or at least I didn't really get it. So I mean,
He's a
like
good-ish person
he's
for
an
helping
okay
out
person. I'll just say that. But
Evan
like
Rachel
I
Wood's
don't know.
character, I
He's
guess.
still banging the interns. I don't know. Like, I guess
But
like
there definitely was
um
an interesting part of it where he was like, "You mess up once in the big leagues, you're done. You know, you have to go." He screwed up. He went and talked to Paul Giamatti, you know, and he told Philip Seymour Hoffman about it. That was his screw up, but he thought he could cover his tracks enough to where it wouldn't matter. But it does. It all matters. You just have to get the upper hand before anyone else does. So it's just a matter about playing the game, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I liked that lead into the end, that like last scene where it's Marissa Tomei, and she's like the journalist, and he's kind of
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
you're my best friend." And it's like I don't know, I like that because it was like,
Salty.
yeah, 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 that,
I
and
mean, it seemed
yeah, I
like
don't
he
know,
was like lying and playing the game, right? I mean, that's what he was. That's what I got
that's
from
what I
that moment.
mean.
But
Yeah, because it was
Definitely.
like allegiances were all over the place, and like he didn't really know like what he could trust, and it was like, well, at least he can go on air and spout the truth if that's what it was.
Yeah, I guess maybe they were trying to like leave you at a moment where it's like, what is he gonna say? Is he gonna say the truth, or is he gonna just buy in and just? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just wasn't that effective. I thought. Going off of that, do you think like George Clooney's direction was like? What did you think about it? I guess as far as his style choices or his like attempt.
I mean, there wasn't too much
It
like
really stood out, to be honest.
yeah.
On a whole, I think, like I said before, the movie just rests a lot on its screenplay. I think it's just really well constructed. So they kind of relied on that rather than bringing in a flashy director or someone, who, I mean, George Clooney's directed quite a few movies actually, and I don't know if I've seen a lot of them, but
I just think this movie could be something like this script like clearly has like oomph, it's just like if this script was put into Fincher's hands like we just went through, this is a different movie and it's going to be way more impactful and it's going to be
definitely
taken more seriously and so yeah, it just like feels somewhat standard or kind of lazy to me. I mean,
it wasn't injected with much like tone or style, just like in the cinematography or anything like that, or the score. Like there wasn't much that like, it could have been punched up. Definitely could have been punched up.
I noted a lot of like standard over the shoulder shots, just like two shots, and they cut between those shots like crazy, man. And like there were some decent like wide shots that were like Clooney was obviously like, like, but he only shows it for like two. I would show like half a scene with a wide shot if I was making. I don't know. It's just like let the actors like bounce around the frame and not just like give me time to like enjoy the visual. Like
it's interesting too because like he works with the Coen brothers pretty often and regularly. You'd think he'd take like I guess some artistic stuff away from them. I don't know.
Took all the ER direction that he worked through. He's like, oh, just stand over the shoulder. Yeah, we got coverage. Okay, cool. We're good. We got it. Yeah.
His roots.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, it just didn't help the scenes like develop into interesting like nuggets for me because like I was just such like standard back and forth cutting that I was like, should I care? Like you guys didn't care. I don't know, but I don't know. You guys didn't even care. I mean, it's like, and you see George Clooney's name at the top, and it's like it puts a level of expectation onto the movie. That like
definitely
you need something more from it. But I guess Clooney's just kind of like a 50-year-old white dude, and that's the 50-year-old white dude making a movie. So that's I get it too. It's like just kind of a plain dude
like that too. Maybe he was just like, well, and the good script. It's like a solid script. Like
they're gonna carry it.
Like that'll be
that'll do it.
Like
I don't need a storyboard.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much else to say on it, honestly. Like I said, it didn't really like evoke a lot from me, but I watched like 6 seasons of House of Cards though, and that burnt me out. And that was a very good show too while I watched, but like it just like digs in way more than this movie did, so.
Yeah. I appreciate
for sure.
Like, more satirical things because I don't know, like Veep and the campaign even. I don't know if you've seen that of Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell. I don't know. They could have done like they could have just done better to pick a lane. I think like go balls to the wall and like kind of make fun of it and show like how gross it is, that kind of thing, or I guess it did take a little more serious route with Rachel Wood's character and all that, but I don't know. Yeah, for some reason it just didn't have the chutzpah that I maybe wanted from it. But
fair enough.
I mean, I guess I think it just had more to say than a lot of movies, at least nowadays, even have to say. So that's what I really appreciated about it. It, like I said, it just was good writing. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, and I was engaged the entire time. Right. Yeah.
The dialogue writing was solid for sure.
Yeah, and I was curious, like when that whole obviously her getting pregnant and everything, that whole thing transpired. You're just kind of curious, like what's going to bite him in the ass. Is it going to be the fact that he took some funds out of the campaign? Is he going to use that against him, or because nothing really traces back to the governor. So how is he going to get this upper hand besides the element of fear? It was just a cool little like how this kind of evolved into what it was, and how Ryan Gosling learned to play the game. I guess the Game of Thrones there. And obviously the girl, she couldn't hang. She got a little worried and fucking.
Yeah, I just like
Yeah.
starting them.
Put her in the
The
top.
starting point of those characters, I think, is the issue for me because like she's
Yeah.
banging and swinging through the office, and he's like, "Come on in, baby," and then they're like instantly like, I don't know, like it, like the shutters are fucking open, and they're like, "Oh shit, this is what we're doing." It's like you
Yeah.
you
I feel
started
like
it. Like I don't know. That's
the way
just
I interpreted it was more so like it wasn't the fact that she was banging or banged the governor. I think it was the fact that he hit the governor at such a high standard that the idea of him just bringing a 20-year-old into his room and doing that with her and trying to, her asking him for money for the abortion and all this stuff. I think that was more so what brought Ryan Gosling down. Not the fact that, oh, I'm being a 20-year-old or she's sleeping around the office. It's, oh, this guy I held at such a high standard is actually a
it's
slime
just
ball like the rest of them.
it's just like why are you holding a man to a high standard when you're not even
Yeah.
holding yourself to that standard? It's
No,
like
and
I just don't
I guess
like
that's the
the character.
interesting part of it.
I don't know. The characters don't fully like check out for me as like functional people or characters, but that's just I don't know. It just doesn't seem right for me. But
That makes sense. I think a lot of people nowadays, we idolize so many different people and things without actually knowing them. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like where Ryan Gosling's character fell, where he idolized this guy. He said a couple things that he really liked, and he was like, "This is the one." And turns out, he's a piece of shit. So
fair enough.
Human, just like everybody else.
yeah,
Yep.
I'd probably go 3, maybe 3.5, but it's somewhere in there for me.
Yeah, I put 3.5.
I'm at a 4, solid 4.
Nice range on this one. You'd love to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do have the picks already. If you want me to upload them.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it in real time.
Yeah, we're gonna say 3 picks in real time. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Sent
Yeah, here we go.
Some interesting ones in this batch. Not bad.
Let's see what we got here, boys.
Oh wow, yeah.
How are we gonna make this work?
Hey, it's back. Nice. Okay. Oh.
Are we just gonna text it into the group chat, or what's the?
Yep.
Yeah, do we want
throw
to
it in
do what we do in
Discord.
our group chat, and then I guess we'll decide from there.
Yeah, we'll just text it so we don't just like yell 3 random things at
Yeah.
each other.
All right. Wait, sorry. What are we doing? We're texting?
Just text it, yeah. And then we'll say
Right
what the
now?
answers are. Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right. Oh, hell yeah.
That sounds promising.
What else we got?
Ooh,
What's
this
that
third
last
one. Yeah.
Oh shit, these are there's some bangers in here, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough ones.
Predator 2?
I mean, I gotta see it. I heard it's
Listen,
not
I'll
bad.
back that. I won't pick it, but if you
I'm
guys pick
sorry,
it,
I mean-
I'm down because that's fun.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, we ready?
Ready to hit send.
1 second.
Yeah, you're
I'm
good, you're
torn.
good, yeah, take your time.
All right.
All right. I got some rand. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Actually, hang on.
Well, I was thinking when I picked these two, like how many have in the chest have just like never been drawn out? Because we do get quite a
Yeah.
few copies every once in a while. Like
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, would have gone like untouched.
yeah, just there's
completely.
got to be like 100 or like maybe less, I guess, that have just like never been
Yeah.
never
sink
been
to the bottom.
chosen. Yeah,
I'm ready whenever though. I don't know.
I got
Yeah,
mine
good.
ready
There
and
you go.
primed. We ready to hit send?
I'm I'm
Primed.
greased
Red
up.
button. The nukes
3,
are going off.
2, 1. Fire!
Oh hell yeah, Tombstone.
Tombstone,
Okay,
Tombstone.
okay, cool,
I fucking love
cool.
Training Day,
Tombstone.
training. Ooh, oh wow. Okay,
Ooh,
it's gonna
Training
be.
Day, dude. Okay.
Oh, Training
So-
Day came up
Ooh.
3
I
times.
think it's a tie,
Yeah.
right?
I was
Tombstone
gonna.
3 times.
Tombstone and
Shit.
Training Day.
Yeah.
To be fair, can I throw this in there? I had Tombstone typed out and I changed it last minute.
Oh,
So
So should we go
We could just-
Tombstone?
We could just
yeah,
watch
I changed
both.
Tombstone to Jennifer's Body. So
I do want to watch that one too.
Yeah.
All right, what you guys? I mean, we can revote with Tombstone and Training Day, or just decide what we through debate. I guess what we want to do, but
let's do a retext. We'll do between Tombstone and Training Day.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotta choose.
I'm greased up. I'm ready to go.
All right.
My thumb's primed.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Fire!
Far away.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, I was hoping it wouldn't be a tie.
Shit.
All right.
2-2.
Tombstone, it is.
Cool.
I'm excited for
Have you
that
guys
one
seen
actually.
Tombstone?
No.
I have.
What?
I have, yeah.
Nah.
It's been a
Okay.
while, but yeah. Yeah.
Fucking, that's
Classic.
Kurt Russell, right?
Kurt
And Val
Russell,
Kilmer,
Val
I think.
Kilmer, fucking
Daniel
That guy with the, I don't know,
Guy with
the gray haired guy with
mustache.
the mustache. I don't know what his
Okay.
name
yeah,
is.
Cool.
Sam Elliott's in it.
Yeah.
I think
There you go.
Yeah.
I was like Daniel Day. It's like
Pax-
kind of.
Paxton's in it. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's pretty stacked. So
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Nice. Be awesome. That'll be fun.
good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be next week. But starting this week, got a
Talk
new
about
dive.
The dog, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, do you have any words before we start this journey that you want
Yes.
to?
Yeah. Give us
I'll-
a preamble.
I have something prepared.
Yeah,
I'll pray
excuse me?
over. I'll pray over this here beginning of the director's dive. I just want to say that I think, I mean, at least out of the 3, I mean, we've only had 3 so far that we've completed fully. But of any director that I could think of, I think Tarantino comes out of the gate the hottest. And then not only does he come out of the gate the hottest, he then tops it with the second movie and then just continues to lay out bangers. So I think in terms of speed, velocity, just pure, I guess, use of pop culture and changing pop culture, I think Tarantino's like, of our generation, of our time, he's the guy, you know? So
Dude is
Amen.
absolutely. Yeah. Amen.
thank
No,
you.
nicely said. Yeah.
Peace be with you.
Yeah. What were you saying, Noah?
He's the epitome of like Hollywood film and like your film nut. The guy's got like so much history, film history, just like in that fucking dome of his.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a genius when it comes to film. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I agree 100%. I made the note that out of the directors we've done, and I think out of most I've seen, this is probably the best debut film of any director.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he just comes out super solid with this one. And as far as his catalog goes, I think he is one of the top directors just for like curating his own films. Like, he only makes a certain amount. Like, he's gonna say it'll only be 10, he says, but that means
70.
that every film is crafted to like a level of perfection / expertise that makes it high quality, for sure. So yeah, I mean, he's been one of my favorite filmmakers for years, so it's exciting to get through his shit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the way he changed, like, you know, you have the Kubricks, which obviously this one today, Reservoir Dogs, that we're talking about, The Killing is a huge inspiration for this movie,
Yeah.
right? But the way Tarantino kind of comes out the gates, you know, 2 scripts. He has True Romance and then Reservoir Dogs. True Romance he gives to Tony Scott, and he takes Reservoir Dogs for himself. But by both these kind of coming out in the same time, he changes how even dialogue is spoken in movies and written for movies and what can be accepted. And I don't know, it's just the way he changed the scope of film is just so interesting and
yeah. I mean,
fun, you know?
especially with, later, I guess, Pulp Fiction, that structure, I think, really injected a lot of like power into people's scripts. But I think Reservoir Dogs specifically, if we just want to try to get to like his early shit, because I mean, when talking about Tarantino, you just want to talk about all the shit, I feel like. But
right, definitely.
When with Reservoir Dogs specifically, like his indie approach to this movie revolutionized like what a film could be with such a small budget. And this this is made with nothing basically, and the quality level that comes from that is exponential compared to like what was put into it. So it just shows like the amount that you can get from such a little budget if you put effort and care into it. And I think I mean, I think this movie spawned like PTA's career. Like people were invested in other filmmakers and younger filmmakers and starting their careers, like because they saw what like Tarantino can do with his low budgets and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he definitely set a tone and like a reality for Hollywood in the 90s and /80s. So it's cool.
Yeah,
definitely.
Dude's fearless in his filmmaking. Definitely an inspiration for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't accept like anyone else's interference either, which is respectable. I mean, sometimes you need other voices, I'd say, but if you're this invested in your own work and you're this like dedicated to its creation, I don't know, you can't really argue with the man if he's got it in his head. So
and like you said earlier, I mean, he's dedicated to making a certain set of films, and he wants his name to be, you know, the Tarantino name from start to finish. He doesn't want to fall off after, you know, like Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood has made how many
50
movies?
films or
But
some
you can't.
shit.
You can only name like a handful of them on a hand that you know that like that's a Clint Eastwood movie and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But with Tarantino, you know, he wants his mark, so he knows what he wants. So, and I respect that a lot.
For sure.
So
he's synonymous with Hollywood now. It's like if he's not in your top 5 directors or filmmakers, like the fuck you doing?
Yeah. As far as like entertainment value goes, he's tops as like directors go. Like I guess if I were to like critique him as like compared to other directors, like I don't gain a lot of like meaningful like life experience or like life knowledge from his movies. I mostly gain like adrenaline / like entertainment, which is a ride, and I fucking love it, and it's great. And but like there's a tone that he's setting that like I don't know. I respect his avenue for movies, but I don't think it's like the only movie to be made. I think like he knows like because I've been watching Spielberg too recently. Actually, I just started him. Completely different vein. He'll just make any type of movie and any different type of movie, and it's completely respectable in my eyes too, as like a wide, expansive array of skill and expertise. But then you have Tarantino, who's like chiseled his into like a niche, and it's like it's just two different like definitions, and it's cool. But you know, it's not. I don't know. I'm trying to find like a way to decide. Like his films are very important to me, and I find that I reference his like work when I look to my own work to like find like how to instigate action and scenes and entertainment. But I find that I need to fall back into like meaning a lot with mine. Whereas Tarantino pushes the, I guess, silliness of it all. I don't know. But
I think that and like the idea of a lot of his movies, not a lot of them, all of them are character driven movies. I mean, that's why they're so dialogue heavy and like you're there with the characters and experiencing like a hangout movie. Like, I mean, look at Once Upon a Time, huge hangout movie. This movie probably, but like Pulp Fiction, hangout movie. The only one that's like a genre movie, I would say, would be like Django and maybe Inglourious Bastards. Those I would categorize in like a Western type or obviously film for Inglorious, but yeah, just it's like his movies are you're there with the characters and you're involving with the characters and you're for their stories and their development rather than taking a profound look at life itself and the world, you know. So
I mean, Reservoir Dogs is like the perfect example of that. You know, like you said, low budget, like a couple, you know, like a few locations, if not like the one main warehouse, and it's enough. Like the characters and the situation that he's written is enough to keep you fucking hooked.
Yeah, Yeah, I remember the first time I watched Reservoir Dogs, I was way younger, and like it didn't. I liked it, and I could tell it was like good, but I didn't really like it that much. And I think what my problem was with it was that it feels like it's just like circling itself. Once they get into the warehouse, they're just kind of like pointing fingers and being like, "Who was it? Who was it? We don't know. What are we gonna do?" You know, like, and so like there wasn't a lot of like forward thrust for me. On this last rewatch though, I was like waiting for that to happen again, and I was like, it's not really. The flashbacks I highlighted as like super key and very well done this time, but it is like circling and it doesn't go anywhere, and there's not really a forward momentum to it, but like the bouncing and then the flashbacks revealing, I think like keep this at a level that like is moving forward, even if it doesn't feel like it, strangely.
Yeah. And like you start off, you set the tone with these characters that nobody knows anybody's names, you know, and they're going around the table and they're just kind of giving out a little bit of their personality just over current pop culture things that are happening, you know, and so you just get a taste of what these characters are. But then when you go to the flashbacks, you only get a couple flashbacks, but it's the key characters, you know, it's Mr. Blonde and Mr. White and Orange, and you get to know where they're coming from because those are the important characters in the story. And
Yeah,
I think that adds just enough flavor, you know.
for sure. I thought too, the flashbacks, like the times that Tarantino chose to flashback to were really solid. With like Pink, it kind of reveals like who they are. I mean, obviously, like what a flashback's supposed to do, it's supposed to be like reveal who they are and why they're here, kind of, and like what their situation is. But for Mr. Pink, like he's basically just like kind of the hired gun guy, it seems like, and he only gets the running away from the cops flashback.
Yeah.
So he's like in the shit, you don't know exactly what he's about. And then White gets the flashback where he's like sort of like presidential or kind of distinguished, making the job with Joe.
He knows
And then,
he has connections outside of this gang, you know, he knows Alabama, which call back to True Romance, and he knows, you know, other
right.
people outside of, so yeah, he's that experienced. He's the wolf.
Yeah. And then with Blonde, it's like he's freshly out of jail, kind of getting like a handout type of thing.
Yeah.
It was just like very nice to reveal at different levels of like the operation, like who these people are along the way. And then you get Mr. Orange, obviously, who's completely got his own journey.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does a great job of like kind of nudging you in the direction of like who do you, like who was the rat, you know, like who.
You know. And it's like it's not this guy, it's not this guy, it's not this guy. You know, it's
process
like,
of elimination, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious too. I didn't go back to check. So Mr. White, I think when he's talking to Mr. Blonde, he had told him that he told Mr. Orange his name when they were in the car. Because like it goes back to that scene again, I think, and
and
Mr. Orange does use his name, but then it's also revealed that Mr. Orange just knows his name because he's a cop and he like looked him up. So I was like, I guess like, did he just say his name in the car? I don't know. Did he? I guess like I was just curious. Like, did Mr. White actually tell him his name, or did he?
Alex, you know this one because I missed maybe like when he actually did reveal his name.
It was just like a question I had when I was watching, but I didn't go back to check.
Yeah, no, I thought they did. I thought they like built that connection and they told each other their names, and that's how Orange knew who he was, and he was going to look him up in the database. No, wait, no, I got that backwards. He was going to look him up in the database because he knew where he lived. He didn't know his name. So that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because he did find his name through like somehow like through the channels or whatever after meeting Joe, like through like whatever database the police had, and then they found out who he was. Because so he already knew his name, I guess is
I think he did. I think he did establish that he did tell Orange's name though, because when he was talking to Pink about it, he said he told him his name, and Pink was like, "Well, you didn't tell him where you live, did you, or where you're from?" And he said, "Yeah, he did."
Because Mr. White was just cool about saying that he told him his name, so like that's
Right.
why that I don't know. That was like when I was like I don't know thinking around this time. Like if I'm watching this for the first time, I don't know who the guy is. Like I'm wondering like if he did actually tell him his name or not. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there is a hint right in the first scene of who the rat is. I mean, when Mr. Orange rats out who doesn't leave a tip. I mean, that's just a little subtle, like, oh, there's your rat.
I didn't even catch that.
I will say on rewatch, like the first scene, obviously it's like I won't say pinnacle of Tarantino, but it obviously is like a first foray into like what he can do. I don't know. It kind of like feels a little too like dated / like projection-y cool to me, that scene now. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, it's just like a little too like Tarantino being like, I'm an asshole, you know, like I don't know. It's just like I mean, it's it's fun. But like the Madonna shit hasn't aged very well, I'd say. But yeah, go ahead.
That's true. I had watched this like a while ago, probably when I was like, I don't know, in college, maybe a freshman or sophomore in college. So it's been a while. But like I didn't even know that Tarantino was in this movie. Like when he showed up and he's like talking, I'm like, oh shit. Like I think at the time I just didn't know who he was. Like, but yeah, that's kind of funny.
And like, I have one question.
Like his only thing in the movie, it seems like. Yeah, I mean, he had that one scene, the one flashback scene, or not even really a flashback. Yeah. He's just fucking dead.
I guess my question to you guys too, as far as like a script goes, with Mr. Pink saying that a waitress only filled his cup 3 times, he wants to have his cup filled 6 times. Is that like an obscene number that like? Because 3 times to me is like holy fucking 3
That's
times.
A lot of coffee,
like, and like
look. I drank a shit ton of coffee. I mean, like, who would need more than
6
that?
fucking
like,
times you expect? That's your expect. I mean, maybe that's like, oh, Mr. Pink's an idiot and he's an asshole. You know, he's like expects 6 coffees, but like something in that script and that number is just like doesn't register right to me. Like,
I think that what you just said, they're all criminals. They're all scumbags. So that's why they are the way they are. I mean, they're depicted. The things they say. But I will say, when I'm at a restaurant, I do drink at least 4 to 5. Dr. Peppers, like everywhere I go.
4 to 5
I drink like 2 before.
I'm not surprised. After the times we've talked about you drinking Dr. Pepper, I'm not surprised at all.
I'm pumping them out like crazy.
I guess like coffee though. It's like the 6 times the waitress. I don't know, but it's the 90s too.
I get the point where it's like, oh, you know, she wasn't amazing. Didn't go above and beyond. But like, 6 cups, dude. That's
next time I go get like breakfast at like a diner, I'll count like how many times I get. My
what's expected,
and then you'll calculate the tip based on.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, hey, Steve Buscemi, he gets it back in the next movie. He plays the old waiter position. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about the first scene, like once it gets into like the meat of the story, I'm really into it. But that first, maybe it also is like the slow-mo introduction. It's like cool, but it's like
when they're walking out of the restaurant.
Yeah, it's like not even in the right like frame rate, so it's kind of just like goofy-ish.
But it started a trend. You know, that's like
the slow-mo walk.
Slow-mo walk.
Well, dudes in suits. Yeah.
It's cool. Like back then, it's probably like shit, but now it's just like
trend.
I don't know.
I sort of get what you're saying. I really like the diner talk hangout thing. I mean that kind of shit I eat up. But I think his script and romance, I think the dialogue in that script is a little bit more rich in terms of like that vulgar stuff. So I think. In terms of, because they're written at the same time, you know, so I kind of like compare the two and what Tarantino's vision of what true romance would have been versus Tony Scott's Reservoir Dogs, you know. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Like,
I don't know. I like the dialogue in the beginning, but I do agree a little bit better considering that he improves upon it in his next movies, you know.
For sure. I mean, and I did write down the line, "You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize." That line's just fucking.
That's fucking great.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Good shit.
And, what's the other one? You gonna bark all day, little doggy, or you gonna bite?
You're gonna bite. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He makes lines that if I wrote it down, I'd be like, oh, that sounds so cheesy, man.
Risque,
but I want to say it. It's just like goofy and fun. But that's what makes his movies so great. Is like he can land it. You know, he'll just do it and tell you just how to say it. Like,
it shows the craft of like character building.
Yeah,
where it's like you get those lines and it's like, who I wonder if he wrote those lines as like who can say this, or he's like writing the character and he's like, I'm gonna make this guy
silly.
This is what this guy needs to say.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Interesting too that this is like in the top 10 heist movies, but it never shows the heist. I think that's kind of like
all the repercussions of the heist, basically.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah, they give you like a little flavor. and especially the scene with like bang, bang,
Mm.
bang. I mean, that just like brings you there, like in such a weird way
without showing you it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
just knowing Mr. Blonde
cool.
is enough. Yeah, because you're just like, yeah, that seems like the type of guy.
Yeah.
His torture scene was fucked, dude. I remember
That's
first
good.
time watching that, and like when you first see that ear, once it's gone, you're just like, oh,
Hello?
Yeah, he's
Can
like
you hear
talking
that?
into it.
yeah.
His performance is one that I think maybe the most special in the movie, honestly. Michael Madsen's, like, I don't know, I just like locked in on his this watch too, where it's like there's
Him
like a
and
lot
Nice
of
Guy
weird
Eddie for
like
me.
what's that?
I said him and Nice Guy Eddie like were for
Yeah.
me like I don't
Yeah.
know,
Definitely.
they stood out for
Yeah.
me on this rewatch than before.
Yeah, they got like the
Yeah.
heart, like some secret heart there, but then they have like with
Yeah.
Michael Madsen's character, he's like got this sadistic fucking personality. So like it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like a weird balance of it.
Well, that's what I mean. He tells the cop, he's like, "I'm not gonna torture you. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it because I find pleasure in it or whatever." I'm like,
Mhm.
damn.
'Cause I want
Shit,
to.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it.
No, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna bring up a
Oh.
question, so
Okay. Yes, the
Dude.
question.
oh, I'm just curious. I did struggle with one thing on this watch, but maybe also in other watches where it's like, why wouldn't they just suspect Orange? Like, because like everybody else seems like they're like established enough or kind of like speaking the truths that most criminals would have. And it's like, is it really just because like Orange is like young and he's fresh faced and like White obviously took like a shine to him because of that? But like, I don't know, like Brown and Blue, they're both dead. So like there's only the people in that building that you can basically point the finger to. And like no one ever points. They try to like be like, well, maybe it's him. And then White's always the guy that's like, you guys are just, it's not right. You guys are saying the, like, I don't, it's just like a little bit of a.
I guess
I
they
think it was
didn't
smart.
know at the time that it like wasn't brown or blue. I think maybe.
Right. And it was smart that Tarantino had Orange shot because it's not like he was there to like ruin or say too much to where it would
Right.
give too much away. So it was a
Mhm.
smart move having him, be unconscious for most of the movie because that just hides some of that suspense of like, is it
Yeah.
Mr. Orange?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then
So
he gives you the flash of all his undercover work kind of stuff.
which is told brilliantly. I mean, when
Yeah.
he's going through his character's story and it cuts
Yeah.
from those moments to moments as he's evolving, it was just
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
oh my god,
Yeah, that was cool to watch.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point too, because actually I wrote where it was like I wrote down like it was a mistake to like basically injure a character or weaken a character to the point that they can't be a character in the story. But like for this story, it 100% adds to it. Like most other stories, it would be like a nuisance.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah, it's like they point the finger, I guess maybe enough to be like, he's still there. He's remember him, and then like it goes back to him and like in the time we need. But
yeah, masterful. Like, I mean, just like device for sure. Like story device. Yeah.
Another question, I guess. I don't know. It's probably gonna have to be like a subject of Tarantino's work, I guess. But like this one, in most of his movies, but like this one, there's a lot of like slurs and N-words by white dudes, and like.
Man, I got the windows open, and I'm like, "Oh fuck! Should I turn this down?" Like,
yeah. So like,
I was like full volume, and yeah.
I guess like my question for Tarantino, if he's never gonna answer this question because people ask him it all the time, and he's fucking sick of it. But like, is this Tarantino's like manner of speak, or is this like Tarantino like trying to send a message about like what it was in L.A. in the '90s, for like shitty white people? And it's like, what can he hide behind though? Is my question in that definition. But
I think with this one in particular, and I would even say Pulp, that they're shitty people. So they're not gonna be like, oh, I shouldn't say this. Instead, they're just gonna say whatever they believe or what have you. Their usual speak their tongues, if you will. What they're used to talking about and saying. So that's why I'm like. That's what kind of gives his scripts, I guess, a little bit more of that authenticity because he's not afraid to put that in there and make his characters be fully their
real
characters,
Yeah. And it is a level of truth that I find to be like there. It's just some of them I feel like it's like unjustified or like blatant in a way that's like why'd you write that?
Sure.
I don't know. It's just like some of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Joe?
I mean, it's like all of his movies that have that
Most.
kind
I
of
don't.
like, that kind of dialogue, or like, I mean, I guess like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like, for sure, Django, Hateful Eight, Inglorious Bastards. I mean, I guess those are all like easy picks for
Right.
like, but
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
subtext. Yeah.
Even probably, well, I don't know. I guess like I can't really think of anything specific in like Kill Bills.
Yeah, I was
or
thinking. I was
Pulp
like, is
Fiction,
there
but
a Kill Bill? I
No,
don't know.
not in Kill Bill, not in Hollywood.
Mm.
I mean, there's period pieces, Django,
Yeah.
Hateful Eight.
And
which,
like,
like, I mean,
I
there's,
get Django.
like a
Like,
time period
Yeah.
anyway. So I mean, like, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
Jackie
like.
Brown, you guys,
I am
he's got
curious
a lot in
though.
Jackie
Like,
Brown. I mean,
Oh, does he?
oh, gotcha.
He's at
Yeah.
the peak of
But,
his
I mean,
90s.
I'll close the
like,
windows. I'll keep the volume
he's
down.
he's also using someone else's material, so who
Mhm.
knows how much he's taking from. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen Jackie Brown. So
Me either.
this will be
Either, yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Another little nice touch in this movie. I guess we'll go back to that conversation in other movies if we want to, but
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
sure
there's
it'll
really
come
a-
up.
Now I'm thinking
Again.
about like
I-
how
I-
Quentin Tarantino talks to other people just regularly. You
it's
know?
like that's
if
what it's like. What is the
is
secret
that,
man's
like,
life? Like,
part of his dialogue, or like like
Well,
or is that just like
I-
how he writes for movies? You know, like
Mhm.
The only thing I would say that it's not just because Samuel L. Jackson like went up to bat for him, because when Jackie Brown came out, that's when a whole lot of flack came his way of like, oh, this white guy's writing this, and Samuel L. Jackson was basically like, shut the fuck up,
yeah.
let him cook. So,
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I remember seeing like
Okay.
an interview or something where, yeah, same, like Sam was like, he's gonna write like authenticity for what it is. So
yeah.
if it brings if it's additive and not, not just bigotry for bigotry's sake, then yeah. But I'm gonna try and find it because I feel like I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I guess another thing I found in this movie, it's like a controversy in the movie that it's basically not a rehashing, but almost like a direct adaptation from like a Japanese movie, I think. It's called like Life in City or something like that. If you look up the similarities, they're quite extreme. And Tarantino is like a very versed guy, so like I struggled to find like that he didn't watch this movie before, but there's also enough differences that he made it his own, obviously. But I guess like stealing is something that Tarantino is open with saying that he does, and I guess I'm opening the floor before you guys think about that, because I actually think like the way that he steals is honorable in a way that I find like postmodern writing that he created, or that most writers strive for now, is all like homage-y in a sense, but not.
Right.
His stuff is like honorable. I don't know. That's the only word I can really think of, I guess. But like,
To back you up on that one, I would say like the phrase "you write what you know," and that man knows and breathes movies. So like,
mhm.
it's kind of hard, I would think, for a guy like that to avoid taking from movies and sending off these homages. But like you said, he's open about it. He says, "Yeah, of course, every movie is a remake of a movie or whatever you have it, however you want to say it." But
Mhm.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
think we've talked
I mean-
about that a lot, like over
Inspiration.
time. Yeah, like inspiration, like the different homages that you see, like especially when we go back to like really old movies, and then you didn't know that like this other movie was like homage, or like to this
Right.
really old movie that we hadn't seen. So like I don't know. I mean,
He's like
he
modernizing
does it
it.
well, and like you said, I mean, I feel like an homage, like it's inherent that it has like you're honoring what you took it from anyway. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I guess it's like because if it's like I don't know, if it's like the whole plot. I don't know. I mean, you
Reservoir
say
Dogs
he
is a
made
tough one. If you look at like the similarities of it, it's like
it too. Like in this other movie, like I mean, did they show the heist?
no, yeah, that's
I
the
don't
whole
know.
that movie has
'Cause,
like
like, I feel like-
subplots that are completely. He basically took that idea and
Gotcha.
just like made it.
Because I
a
feel like
movie.
what makes
Oh.
this movie cool, or like a couple things that just make this movie like good, and probably for the time too, like you guys said, earlier was the budget. I mean, like what he did with the budget for this movie, and I mean, like that's like kind of probably why they didn't show the heist because it would have been, more money and
that's why he
stuff.
didn't
I
have
don't
the
know.
money for it.
I think like it worked well, and yeah, if it's that different, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we see from Hateful Eight that he kind of like just refined and honed that situation even
homage
more,
to his
right?
own movie,
Yeah,
like-
We'll get there.
exactly.
We'll get there. We'll get
The
there.
man's just inspiring himself these days. He just can't stop.
Yeah.
him.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
Give it time.
for
Give it
sure.
time. Yeah.
Also,
Wow.
not the Hateful Eight. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like this doesn't have anything to do with Quentin Tarantino, so I can save it for later. But it just reminded me because you said like he possibly copied something of somebody else's, and I found out like yesterday. I guess like Neil Gaiman wrote like some graphic novel in the early '90s. I can look up the name. Yeah, let me look it up because I wrote it down.
I've read a decent amount of Neil Gaiman, so
It's called The Books of Magic or The Book of Magic. I don't know. If you guys have a computer, maybe just Google it real quick and see what the first image is that comes up. And tell me what you think.
Magic. Books of Magic. Okay, yeah.
All right. Is anything else coming to mind?
And now I feel like I gotta look this up.
Wait, hold up. I'm reading the synopsis.
If you edit this, you should put a picture of the book. Like...
I'm putting it up right now. It's Harry Potter.
That's what I was
100%, dude. It was like before Harry Potter came out. Like I'm pretty sure like
Holy
7
shit.
years before Harry Potter.
The owl.
What's the synopsis here?
I don't like from what I looked up, it like the intro at least is like pretty much identical to Harry Potter.
Timothy Hunter could be the most powerful magician in the world, but does he really want to be? Guided through the magical world starting at the beginning of time by a group of DC Universe magicians, often referred to as the Trenchcoat Brigade.
Oh shit, I didn't know about that. I didn't research it a lot. So.
I'm just reading the the Amazon fucking thing.
Interesting.
They attempt to aid Timothy in his decision whether or not to embrace his gift.
I'm pretty sure all I know is that he got like an owl came to him with a letter telling him he had magic powers.
Nice.
And hey, that's all I needed.
All right, J.K. Rowling.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean...
Anyway, we can get back to Tarantino. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was pretty interesting.
Everybody's stealing some shit if you're an artist, I'd say, where you're like amalgamating what you know into something you want, I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess like on the topic of Reservoir Dogs, this movie too on the rewatch felt like it could have been written as a stage play. Like it was like I was like watching this on stage this time. It was crazy. I was like, even the flashbacks, it's like you do a quick scene change and you just jump in there and like
bring out a table or something, you know?
Right. Yeah. Industrial ass background. Like
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it'd be cool. But I was like, I don't think Tarantino wrote it that way. He obviously wrote it for the screen, but it feels so like stagey.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't hurt it either.
Speaking of stage, he did write Hateful Eight for the stage, so maybe he had it in mind for Reservoir Dogs, but saved it. So.
And that's I don't know. I feel like Reservoir Dogs. I mean, there are different like shots. I don't know. I feel like Hateful Eight, you have like literally just one room for pretty much the majority of it, and like I guess this is too, but like they go to different parts of the place. I don't know. Like in Hateful Eight, I feel like it's like mostly they're just in that fucking cabin.
Just open,
just one room in the cabin.
Cuts like outside, but
but like there are flashbacks and shit in there too. But I don't know.
I have to say, for Tarantino's movies, especially like this watch through even of Reservoir Dogs, without fail, I take something new away from them, and the rewatchability of all his movies are just so high. And I find myself, obviously, I rewatch them several times a year. I've watched Pulp Fiction 3 times so far in the past couple months.
Year?
So, yeah.
Oh shit!
Holy shit!
So I mean, I don't know. The rewatchability on his shit is just so rewarding too. Like I said with Reservoir Dogs, it took me. This is like my 5th or 6th time watching it, and here I am finally giving it the 5-star review it deserves.
5
Because
stars,
I
eh?
just think, yeah, it bumped up. It had to be just the
Interesting.
just came onto the scene and changed film. And this the way the budget he had and how he crafted such an interesting film out of pretty much nothing. I mean, one room, a few guys, a bank robbery that happened but we didn't see happen, but it's still engaging. I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
good.
his ability
Wow.
to write the characters and like give you like all the seeds of like you kind of these guys, like what
Yeah,
what stock they come from, but then
right.
at the same time it's like you're still learning about them through all the shit that's going down.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. I when I first watched this one, I gave it 4.5. Because yeah, it just struck same deal. It struck me. I was like, this is this dude's first like breakout film. Like holy, like nailed it.
yeah.
Um, if that's not inspiration for filmmakers, like I don't know what is. Crazy.
Yeah, I had it at 4. I have it at 4 right now. Debating on going to 4.5 though, because this one, I think I might like this movie more than Pulp Fiction. Honestly, we'll talk about it next week when I
Really?
rewatch. But honestly, I
Oh
think
shit.
it might be better. I don't know. We'll see. But
I mean, I could see the argument. It's just I have a little nugget for you guys when we do our Pulp Fiction talk through. I found in my digging of Tarantino that I randomly do all the time. So um,
nice.
it's just yeah. I don't know. There's so much you can take. We'll get into Pulp Fiction next week, but
Yeah.
I can see the argument though. I mean, that's why I think this is going to be one of my more challenging directors like
To
stack
rank.
ups of
Rankings?
like.
That's what I was just
Dude,
thinking. Like
yeah.
when you threw out a ranking,
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta fucking rank Tarantino's movies. Like that's gonna be so
Good
much
luck.
harder than ranking Fincher. Like Fincher was
Fuck yeah.
easy. Like
Yeah.
ranking
I
these
think
is gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be like your
I
favorite.
think out of all of his films, I have 2 that aren't 5 stars, maybe 3. So I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. So
That's why
Ooh.
I have it at 4. I could go up. It probably should go up to 4.5 at least. But like I think I'm gonna keep it at 4 for now, just for like ranking purposes.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely solid debut. I had the only other note I have is that like a nice little touch in there is the constant interludes of like the monotone guy being like, if you're the
yeah.
12th caller, go down to the monster truck
So
rally
good.
this weekend. I don't know. That
So
dude
good.
just like sold something for me and like the time and the tone, so for sure.
It's good.
Shit.
70s
Steelers
dude, just
Wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s classics.
stoned in his
Speaking
studio.
of like
Yeah.
that part with Steelers Wheel kicks in, the iconic torture scene. But the tracking shot, he goes out to his car, music's still playing, grabs his stuff, we follow him back in, kicks back in with the music. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
It's like
It's
The way
children laughing
Tarantino can
outside.
just
Yeah, it's like just
yeah,
another day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's just so good, Good shit. Good shit.
I did actually go back and watch. If you, I'd recommend you at least, Alex, since you're just such a Tarantino head. I watched his like lost short film called My Best
I
Friend's
found it.
Birthday.
I'm
You got all the footage?
I thought you were talking about the Reservoir Dogs one.
I did watch that one too. It's like a 12-minute little
Okay.
short with just him and Buscemi, kind of just
Yeah,
bouncing
I
back and
watched that
forth.
one.
That was cool. It was interesting.
Yeah.
To show, it was like a proof of concept basically.
Right.
But he made a movie, a short film, in like '86 called My Best Friend's Birthday, and it's not he only 36 minutes of it has survived like a fire or some shit, but it's
Really?
basically just like his first attempt at like his style, and it's very like jagged and it's not a good quality obviously, but like I actually found myself to be kind of entertained because it's Tarantino's writing. And I'm just like, oh, it's like you're getting like little glimpses of it, and it was just cool to watch. So
Where'd you find it?
just YouTube.
Okay. My Best Friend's Birthday, you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like his first attempt at something, but if you're wanting to, find some more Tarantino, just go back and check it out.
Shit.
How
I
long
guess
is it?
also
It's like
on top of
35 minutes,
Tarantino's
36 minutes.
I might
on the
check it out.
topic of Tarantino's scripts and his writing ability, I find his scripts to be just super entertaining to read too. Like I don't know if you've ever just sat down and read his scripts.
I haven't read
They
his
don't really
scripts
differ
actually.
from what comes out on screen. But like, yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy the Kill Bill scripts. Those are really good. I mean, Pulp Fiction, obviously, that's a great one to read. Yeah, they're just good, rewarding reads.
Yeah,
So,
I read Once Upon a Time, his book.
ah,
A lot of
nice.
asides in that book, but it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
He really splooges in that one. He
Yeah,
takes every opportunity where he's like, "Watch this, boys."
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Did you want to learn about 1950s television?
Yeah.
Well, you're
Yeah.
fucking gonna now for the next 2 chapters. Like, yeah.
Cracks
It's
his
so crazy
knuckles,
that
now watch me.
I guess we could talk later on that movie, but like that book is such a random ending compared to what the movie is too. It's so different. It's so
There's
weird.
quite a few differences in it too. I mean, he wanted it to be a book before it was a script, so before it became what it was, which, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get that. I mean, we got a few more films to go, but it's gonna be a fun journey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other notes on Reservoir Dogs? Excited for Pulp Fiction next week. Get a nice talk on that one. It's been a couple of years, I think, since I watched it. So
I hope that you like it more this watch through. Like, I don't know.
I've liked
I
it.
like showing it to people and seeing what they get from it and having like what they've taken away from what they just saw. And because there's so many ways you can interpret what's happening on screen and so many rewarding things that you can pull from it. So that's what I really like about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, it all comes really from the script and whatnot. Just good writing. Solid.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that because I'm pretty sure I've only seen it once, so it'll be nice to, yeah.
That's the one movie that I would choose to watch till the end of time, I think.
Wow.
So
Nice. Desert Island, that's the movie you got with it.
that's the movie I'd take with me.
Nice.
Cool. Nice. Well, we'll talk next week more Tarantino, man.
Yeah. So I do have a question, not Tarantino related, but Desert Island sort of related. If you had to pick a movie star's filmography those are the only movies you could watch till the end of time, which movie star would you take?
Ooh. That's
Man.
tough.
I could cast a wide net with Danny Trejo. A real wide
Good.
net.
You could.
Brad Pitt jumped to mind first just because he has like really entertaining and good movies, and a lot. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, the first people that came to my mind were Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, and Tom Cruise.
Solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Denzel. Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
For some reason, like the
Tough.
first couple people I thought of were like Leonardo DiCaprio and Christian Bale, but I don't really
Those are good
love like
picks.
a lot of their movies. But like,
Christian Bale's would be
Leo's
not
got
as
some
rewarding.
bangers.
I feel
Yeah.
like.
That's true.
Yeah. But Leo would be.
Leo,
some
you
good
can
ones
go
in there.
down with Wolf of Wall Street, Departed, fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Django.
Titanic, baby.
I
Yeah,
think I need to take Leo.
yeah,
Hang
down
on.
with the
some
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad Pitt, I can cover like multiple different bases of stuff though. It's
Yeah,
like
definitely.
and some Tarantino in there, you know.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt would be a good pick. Yeah.
I guess I was
I'll just
thinking
stick with Leo
also,
for now.
is there another director that you think had a debut that's better than or like as good? Because just in this conversation, the only one that has come to my mind without like really diving in was the Daniels with Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
And they're also on a track
Yeah.
to be like Tarantino-esque level of like quality for each movie
Yeah.
too. So it's kind of cool for them.
The
I
only
would say.
person I'd put, or I guess people I'd put on Tarantino's level would be the Coen brothers. I don't know if you've seen Blood Simple,
I've not yet.
Oh
so.
no.
but they came out. I really
Did
like
they?
that one. I mean, it's super simple and like
Blood
obviously it's an indie film on like a couple $100,000 budget, but it's really good. And I think they come out of the gates pretty strong.
Nice. Yeah.
Those are the only other people I would consider.
Yeah, I mean, are
on
you
the
just
level.
talking about like
Just, like-
banger directorial debuts?
Yeah, big directors. I guess like James Cameron started with Terminator. It's kind of a
The
banger.
first thing I thought of too, but because like we kind of talked about him recently, was like Ari Aster. I mean, Hereditary was his
Yeah.
first movie, right?
That's-
I mean,
yeah,
like
that's a
that's a
good-
banger.
That's
That is a
fair.
banger.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
He
He's
doesn't
a-
have many movies, but like
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. That's good. Yeah. I mean, Midsummer too is like if you're following the trend of Tarantino,
Yeah.
like Jackie Brown's apparently like his lower end, and that means Beau is Afraid
that
was
would be
his
Beau is
lower end.
Afraid?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Trex.
Stuff to see that.
Huh. That's
Kevin
interesting.
Smith. Kevin Smith, dude.
Kevin
Clerks.
Smith, Clerks.
Man, I still have to watch Dogma. Like, fuck. Terry
yeah.
told me
I
to watch
just watched
Dogma
it.
like two or 3 weeks ago, and I still
Clerks is
fucking
good,
watched
man.
it.
I just watched
Yeah,
all
it
of them
is.
recently. They're pretty good.
Dogma's good too. I watched that like maybe last week or a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Not that many. Yeah, but
Yeah.
gotta look more into it, but because there's other directors that are like they've had their first film as their best film, but then like they don't like keep to the
Right.
same level of quality, you know. But
Right.
Hard to top.
That's where I struggle. I'm like, yeah, there's some that come out the gates strong, but then they just
they don't keep it.
nosedive. You
Like
know?
Nolan, his first movie is not. It's like Following, and I haven't seen it, but it's like if it was Memento, I might agree with that. But
I
Yeah.
thought, oh, so
Yeah.
Memento's not his first.
it's his second
The Following?
technical film.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't know that.
his first one's pretty low budget too. So
I actually haven't seen Memento either. I feel like I should. See
I actually
that.
like
I
the
don't know.
movie a lot. It's kind of
Yeah,
people think it's
you do?
overrated or it's not as like a quality level that because
I've
it's just like
heard a bunch
gimmicky.
of shit that like relates to it. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
a lot of like the tropes or like
Oh,
the
yeah.
I don't know the
It's
homages.
fun.
I guess.
Yeah, it's a fun movie to watch for sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, shit, are we
Uh,
going into like our what
yeah,
we've been
I'm-
watching recently? Because
I
I guess
think
like
so.
I have been trying to just like catch up on some shit that I haven't seen.
I'm
I
caught
watched.
up.
I did watch the D&D movie. I just saw it was like randomly on Amazon Prime, so I'm like,
Boo.
Yeah.
fuck it, I'd watch it. And
What'd you
to be
think, Joe?
honest, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Nice. You just have to play
Hey,
D&D
if they
to,
make
like-
another one, I'd watch it. Like
Same.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know.
It's definitely one of those. It struck me as one of the movies you just throw on in the back, and
Yeah.
like the pieces you catch, like you'll catch pretty
it's
good
fun.
pieces of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I want them to
I
do
catch
up on
a
it.
better group in the next movie because I liked the little main cast, but I think a more harnessed like
Yeah.
friend group is like what
Yeah.
that story needs. But
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of the I don't know, a lot of like the magic items and shit had showed up in other stuff I've seen, or like versions
the
of them.
gelatinous cube.
Or like even like or like even there's like an undead guy and his sword glows green at one point. Like that's like a warlock thing, like a hexblade warlock thing, because they have like green flame blade.
So you're just
is,
catching
like,
all the
their spell.
references.
So like I don't know, yeah, I just like I'm catching all the shit. Or
Yeah.
like that helm, I don't remember what it was called, like the helm of disruption or something like that. And like one of the D&D podcasts I'm listening to now, they like switched it to like a cursed item. They have like this thing called the Helm of Ultras. And it's like this giant guy, like this giant leader dude, and he basically takes over this other guy. I don't know. This is cool shit. It's like very similar to like the helm that's in the movie though, like what they do with it. So like I thought it was kind of interesting. But anyway,
Definitely had some nerds on set and writing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So besides that, I finally got around to watching the Joker movie.
Oh,
The newer one?
Yeah, I had never seen it before.
What?
People had told me it was good,
Wow.
and
Wow.
and yeah, I liked it a lot actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was really
did
good.
Yeah.
Watch Taxi Driver and you'll change your mind.
You say
It-
Taxi Driver?
Speaking of like stealing, holy shit. I mean, or like
Yeah,
stealing /
yeah.
homaging.
That's
yeah.
the kind of stuff.
I'm gonna write
where
that
it's
down
like,
too.
It's no longer a homage. It's more like he took beats from Taxi Driver and just
Okay.
inserted.
Well, look
Okay,
at
I'm gonna watch
look at
that.
City and
It's
Life
like-
then,
I think a
man,
little bit.
because
You know, like initially,
I-
what
I
held
would-
Or
me
Life
off
in
of
City,
watching
or-
it
Check
for
it
this
out.
long was that like, why did you have to make it related to like DC or the Joker at all?
Mhm.
So like
that's
the fact that
that's the
Taxi
main-
Driver is not now makes me kind of change my mind
Why-
because like
watch
yeah, I like
Taxi
all
Driver.
the themes of like the movie, but like I guess like I still don't really think it needs to be like the Joker like at all.
And, that's the thing. It's like when I say beat, it takes beats straight from Taxi. Like the whole pistol thing in the Joker. There's like it's beats for beat from Taxi Driver and him trying to have this relationship with a woman, but he's too kind of awkward to have this, so he fantasizes and makes up this idea of it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just I don't
it's
know. And
modernizing
the way you
it in your own
described-
image, but
Yeah, but the way you describe, like, I guess, that Japanese film and how Tarantino may have just ripped it right off, but it just sounds like he took the warehouse idea and just kind of built off that and everything else that surrounds that warehouse idea. And I could be wrong, I haven't seen the film, but
I mean, it's beat for beat for that. It's like straight up like guy comes into the warehouse, gunshot. One dude's protecting him, saying he's not the guy. Other guy thinks it's the guy. Boss comes in, says it's that guy. Other guy protects, shootout. Like it's crazy. I was like, ooh, but
you might be right.
Yeah.
What is it? Maybe we should all watch this.
I think it's called Life in City. I might be wrong though, honestly. I don't know. Or like City Life or some shit.
Leaf in City or
Life.
City Life?
It's basically like crime, life in city. Like it's like a city story, I think. But yeah, I haven't watched it. I just watched clips, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like, I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess if I do end up watching Taxi Driver by the next time, then I'll have more feedback on Joker, I guess.
But
also,
I mean, just before we got off the Joker, though, I fucking love that movie, and I watched Taxi Driver after it,
and I heard you rave about it. So like, I don't know.
And I
you were
like
one of the like 3 or 4 people who was like
it.
told me they fucking loved that movie.
Yeah.
And, like thought it was really good. So like, I don't know.
I mean, stealing, whatever, we can argue that all day long, but the theater experience I had with Joker and it made $1 billion. Like it obviously connected in a way that was greater than its DC parts. And the fact that it is DC is the only reason why it did
all
that.
The mental health issues and shit like that. I mean, like that was like I don't know.
For sure. But I think like if you made that movie and it wasn't Joker, it would be a worse movie. Personally.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
they did make that movie and it wasn't Joker. It was Taxi Driver.
And it's a worse movie.
It didn't do as good.
If it wasn't Joker,
I will watch Joker any day over I've seen Taxi Driver one time and it was good. I don't think I want to watch it anytime soon.
Wait, does Taxi Driver have Tom Cruise in it?
No, it's got De Niro.
Robert De Niro. It's Scorsese's movie.
Interesting that it has Robert De Niro in it too, because like Robert De Niro is also in Joker.
But like, well, he's throwing it back to Scorsese the whole movie basically, and that's what Tarantino's doing in all of his movies. He's throwing it back to.
And I get that, but he could throw it back to Scorsese like Paul Thomas Anderson throws it back to Scorsese, where he has like these nightclub tracking shots in Boogie Nights, where it's like, okay, Scorsese is a clear like inspiration for him, but he's just taking those tropes and what has inspired him and made him feel things.
No, man, I think you should look into Tarantino's influences over this dive because he's taking a lot and rehashing a lot. He's like Django is a movie. Like he's like straight up like grabbing Inglourious Bastards is a movie. It's got he's like taking titles and taking like ideas and influence, and it's like, which to me Joker was that.
Like it was a movie. Those were movies before he made them.
Oh yeah,
that's what you mean.
They're like oldies. The movies that people don't know about anymore because it's too old. Which is like Taxi Driver's like right on the hinge of being too old for people. And that's, I think, like why it's more of a fresh argument where it's like, he just took Taxi Driver. But like, I don't know. It's a better movie, 100% than Taxi Driver.
Is a fine movie. I enjoyed myself.
Right?
I enjoyed Taxi Driver better.
Fair. But
and
the
ending, I don't know. It felt a little lazy at times where it's just taking beats for beats. Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. At times, maybe it is, but the ending, I don't know if that's what you said, Noah, for Joker, but
I love the ending. I mean, because Taxi Driver's ending, I guess you could say, is like
it's more internal
and that it's like,
psychological, I guess. But
he's channeling it for like good, I guess. All that his character, but Joker, like that character, just seems so real. And like so true to
fucking
life,
traumatized.
And, that I was like, holy shit! Like that's so shocking when he's on the show with De Niro. It's like, holy fuck. And just like what it leaves you with him with like the riots in the streets. And
that moment with him smearing the blood is like iconic fucking like cinema to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like eating that shit up as like that, but like the incarnation or the ideas of the Joker. Like that at the end right there, like, and I don't even read the comics or whatever, but I just like the idea of like a chaos agent, and like coming into the like that fruition there at the end with the fucking like, I don't know. That's good shit.
It's great.
Man.
It's like for me too. I mean, for DC, for Batman, it's like the whole idea between like Batman and Joker is like the two people who like took their trauma in different directions, basically. So you get that in
and he's got his following, his massive following behind him, like clearly who is like on the same page, and then even the little epilogue at the end where he's in the like psych ward and he's like, you wouldn't get it, that you don't get the joke, like it's just That movie's so good, man. I might have to watch that again, honestly. But
It's good. It's good.
anyways, what else, Joe? What you been watching?
So besides that, I had told you guys like a long time ago that I was watching Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. So I finally finished it, and I don't know if you guys know anything about Anthony Bourdain or not.
Very little
background
but
stuff.
To be honest, I'd recommend the show. I think I don't know. I think it's a really interesting show because like I mean he just gets along with literally anybody, and there is like almost a political agenda sometimes, but like he talks to people from like both sides in like this country at least, and he like gets along with them just so like I feel like it's like an actually like accurate depiction of like the area and that he goes to culture like instead of
is it you said No Reservations?
Yeah, he has two shows. Mm-hmm. No Reservations is like the CNN one, and then there's Parts Unknown that I think was the Travel Channel show. But anyway, so like he ended up committing suicide in 2018 while he was filming for No Reservations, and I think he was in France at the time. But like, so the last season of No Reservations is like half of it is basically like behind the scenes. Like talking about just Anthony Bourdain, like his impact and stuff like that. And like the last episode is about Lower East New York, and it's like focused in like the 70s because that's when he like was there, like that's where he like grew up. And they talk about like the different like I don't know, like the punk scene and like I don't know, just like drugs and shit going on there and like just different art and stuff. So then at like the end of the episode, because he's in this episode, and that episode is pretty dark, to be honest. But anyway, at the end of the episode, this guy comes in. His name is John. His name is John Lurie. And it's the fucking Painting with John guy that I was talking about last week.
Whoa.
So I found out that John Lurie, I guess, is like, I don't know, just a really good saxophone player. Other than that, I don't really know. I still haven't watched the show, but like
I think it's a message, dude. You got to start it up.
It's on my show now to watch it. So like, I thought it was like an interesting like connection. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
that's crazy. It's literally leading you into that show. Yeah, that's like insane.
I thought it was cool. Yeah.
I do kind of want to watch. I do want to watch Bourdain though, because he seems like an interesting guy.
Honestly, he's just a cool dude.
Yeah, and the cultures he explores would be cool to watch. So I'll put it on my list for someday.
I mean, even if it's just like background, like a lot of times I just had it on the background, but then like, I don't know, when you are like focusing on it, I feel like it's just like super interesting sometimes.
It's like Planet Earth, right? It's like in the background, it's like cool, but when you look at it and you're like watching it, you're like, holy fucking shit, this is Earth? Like,
it's beautiful. It's amazing.
It's insane.
Jeez. Yeah.
Speaking of Planet Earth, I've been watching that recently.
Planet Earth?
Yeah, it's on HBO. I was like, I'll smoke.
Dude, I love that shit. Planet Earth 2, the second series. The second series is so fucking fire because it's like 15 years after the first one, and they got better cameras and shit. And the cities episode of Planet Earth, where they document like animals and city life, is the best episode of Planet Earth I've ever seen. And it's just so fucking good.
But I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it's that's awesome.
I'm not sure.
I think it's HBO. I think that's what I'm watching it on right now.
It's been bouncing around the last few years. I couldn't find it for a couple of years there, but it's
God. I don't know if that episode does it, but I know there's like a city. I want to say it's like Singapore or like the Philippines or something like that, where it's like they've built like mega structures in the city that are just purely meant for like nature to go. Like there's like like they have like terraces.
It looks like a mushroom basically or whatever. Like
and it's like entire like
they're trying to incorporate
built to
environment more. Yeah, it's sick. Super.
Where'd you say was that? Like so cool. I would assume
it's. I believe it is Singapore.
Is it Singapore?
I might be wrong.
I knew it's like east. Yeah, like those eastern.
Might be Japan. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Something like that.
One of the most interesting episodes of any show ever, honestly. But
I can see it.
So
cool. Maybe I'll watch it later tonight.
Check it out.
Yeah,
I got plenty. I'll write that down on the list.
Joe's got a fucking
long list.
He's breaking that scroll out.
Yeah, I was gonna watch Dune because I still haven't seen the first one. So
the old one.
No,
Yeah.
sorry. They actually like the
Oh.
new
the
one.
newer one, the first one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna watch that old one. I would like. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard about it. But I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna
recommend.
do that.
It's
Do
not
that to
great.
myself.
Yeah. Speaking of Dune, though, I did watch a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune, and it's about I forget his first name, but his last name is Jodorowsky, and he was about to make Dune in the 80s/70s, and he like geared up plans for years. He grabbed like artists, Salvador Dali, I believe, is one. H.R. Geiger, the guy who basically designed the alien from Aliens, like he was incorporated. A lot of other people that are like were huge names now. And he has like this vision. He basically shows you what the movie is through like storyboards, which is kind of cool in the doc. It's like his vision of Dune, and never got made because then it like got scrapped, and then David Lynch came in with his version. But no, I think you would find it very interesting, Noah. Honestly,
yeah, I would just think like, I mean, Dune in the 80s, that almost seems like the perfect time period for that.
I mean,
like story.
I mean,
his interpretation is kind of cool to listen to. Some things it's like, is that going to work? But like, he's very like spiritually into the idea of Dune and like what it is on like an artistic level and almost like a spiritual level. So
I mean, like, just imagine if like that was made in like you said the 80s, early 80s?
It's like early 80s, yeah.
I mean, like, Dune could have taken off like Star Wars.
Right. It was before that. Yeah, it was before Star Wars, right? So
I think Star Wars might have been the late 70s, but about the same time.
It was before Star Wars that this was like in fruition.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because like they even took
before the original trilogy had ended.
Yes, it was before the original trilogy started. Sorry, I'm in the wrong year. It was definitely 70s then, because they take concepts from some of like his Dune things and bring it to Star Wars even too. Like the influence of this movie that was never made is kind of crazy. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
That's wild. I mean, it's cool that you say like that, because I remember like when I read the books, the first two, like I had that experience like after finishing the first one, where I was like, it's like, holy fuck, dude, like there's so much in this book that has to do with like, I mean, spirituality, like, greater forces of the universe, also like the geopolitics of, in that world, space and like the empires and stuff that's going on. I was like, there's so much, and philosophy. There's so much philosophy in Dune that it like blew my mind. So I was like that's why I think I was like a little disappointed with Villeneuve's like this new Dune, because it
definitely like, dry. It seems like compared to what some other visions like, could be. So
the vibe, but yeah, like the themes they could have driven home more. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd check it out, Noah.
Right on the dry. Fuck you.
Oh wow. Of course. Yeah, check it out, Noah. I'm curious what you think of like his interpretation would be, because there were some moments where I was like, damn, that seems like it's it. And then sometimes you're like, bro, you're on drugs, dude. Like, I don't know. So it's kind of it's kind of interesting.
What was the name of it?
It's called Jodorowsky's Dune. Yeah, Jodoro.
What's the purpose of movies without we can't watch them? The City on Fire. Sorry, I'm trying to find it this whole time.
Is that it?
What?
No.
Yeah, it's called City on Fire, but it's called Lung Fu Fang. Lung Fu Feng Wan is the real name, but it's not streaming anywhere unless I get like a fucking VPN to Japan or Hong Kong.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be. I just watched clips online, so
so frustrating.
Send us the fucking clip, bro.
All right.
It's interesting that so this is the Prime Video description, though. I won't read the whole thing, but the last sentence says, in the highly commercialized formulaic crime genre of Hong Kong, very few thrillers are truly original, and innovation comes from a form of style and action, because the whole synopsis is talking about, oh, this film was ripped off by Tarantino, but really it's about how it's laid out, like I guess like what you're saying. So maybe I should just
they're trying to like set it straight or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
I'm picturing you ruining Tarantino for Alex.
No, I think that'd be pretty hard to do, right? Like,
yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
No, it's just like
Tarantino's my god. So.
Yeah, it's a tough like question to ask, I guess, with like stealing versus like harnessing.
Yeah,
like so, I don't know.
Maybe I should just be less harsh on certain things. It's just, I guess, with things like the Benjamin Button thing, it just rubbed me the wrong way, because I guess it just
if
With
it's
a
too
movie like that, it
blatant,
didn't really have much to say, and yeah, it was just like beat for beat, but it was the same writer just taking an idea that he had that was actually like electric at the time and thinking he can do it twice. I don't know.
You
I
know, I
get you.
wonder too, like how much like the industry has like a say or a pull in that, because it's like, oh, we can take this old thing and like get this writer on it and just, you know, make a shit ton of money off of it, because like,
Yeah,
you know. So I don't know. It's hard to say it towards that. For me, it's
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
like what was Joker when it was conceived? You know,
Yeah.
probably something
Yeah.
along
Without
those lines. But
someone probably read it and was like, this is Taxi Driver. Like,
yeah,
what
it's
the fuck
like,
are we doing
so
here?
we're just
Like,
taking it and remaking it for modern. Okay, you know, like,
yeah.
but then
Yeah.
it's like when strangely Todd Phillips, the director, like puts care and intensity and like intentionality into it, it's like becomes
he did.
greater.
I would say
Yeah,
Todd's
elevate.
style is a little bit more interesting to watch in Joker than
For
he's
sure.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
I just like
yeah,
the story in Taxi Driver a little bit better, I guess. I don't know.
fair.
Um,
Fair. I need to
De
watch
Niro's
it again.
great in that too. De Niro
Yeah.
actually like pulls that. That's like not a character I would expect him to
Yeah.
like pull off, but he does. So
It's like his start too.
Anyway, sorry to bring it back to that. That's what I've been searching for this whole time.
Yeah.
How to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah,
So
right. Anybody else what you guys been watching other than that?
I saw
Planet
the
Earth.
Equalizer 3.
Oh, how's that?
Oh,
I still
yeah.
gotta watch the second one.
Oh yeah, that came out like
I haven't seen
first
any
or
of
second
those.
or something, right? Yes, that's the
Yeah.
last movie of the summer.
Yeah, I guess
right?
we could.
Our
We should
list.
probably see who won, right?
Well, I guess it's
Well,
like
we gotta
I
wait.
guess it's not
Let
set.
Equalizer
Yeah,
cook.
like
Let the Equalizer
First
cook.
weekend it made 50 million. So
It's gonna
just let it
drop
it
cook.
is on
hard.
my list. I put it on my list as a wild card. So like,
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know.
it's really good. I mean, it's entertaining.
Nice.
I'd say
I
it's
haven't
better than
really
the
looked at
second.
the list
Not
though. In
it's
a while.
about on par with the first. So entertainment wise, Denzel
I don't know.
is fucking amazing in it. I will say that. So
Man,
Usually puts in the work, right?
yeah, he's very good in it.
and it's
He
like a
really.
thespian. He's a trained. He knows what's up.
It's good. Other than that, I watch some. It never fails when I come to my mom's house. She surfs all her streaming platforms for like an hour and a half, and then lands on some cheesy ass B movie that no one's ever heard of, and she just is like, "Oh, this looks good." Puts it on, and it's complete dog shit.
Nice.
So I watched that last night, and it had Michael Fassbender in it, the girl who plays Beth. It was like a revenge. Beth, sorry, from Yellowstone. Like a revenge movie. It was extremely frustrating to endure for 90 minutes. So
Okay,
It's
well,
hard to
never gonna watch
endure
that, Bradley. But
yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
Totally, would not recommend it. But
yeah, I gotta catch up on the Equalizer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
good.
versed.
It was a fun movie experience. I think bunch of old farts in there,
Watching
all having a
Denzel.
good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reliving their glory days, wishing they were action stars.
Man, I
yeah.
guess like, is there anything else like I don't know, good or noteworthy coming out soon? I guess
As
I
far
haven't
as
really gone to
movies
the theater.
goes,
The Killer. I know we've been
it's
talking
end of the
about that one a
year.
little bit.
Yeah,
Couple
is that?
months.
Oh yeah, because I think is it in theaters in August and then it goes on Netflix in November, or like
I think
am I thinking the
it's
opposite?
it's in theaters October and comes on in December. I think
Okay,
for
okay.
Killer.
I will definitely
Same
see it
with
in theaters if I can.
Yeah.
same. I'm gonna try to see that and
Yeah, I
Killers
probably
in
will too.
theaters. Sorry,
Yeah, I
Killers of the
like.
Flower Moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. Like, is the Killer like available for like pre-screen? Like, have people watched it? I saw an article
I mean,
earlier
it's playing at the
today.
festivals.
Some people
People
did.
said it didn't like. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about it until we watch it. But like, I don't know.
speak
They said
ill.
They said it didn't pay off, and I'm like, well, that's not really.
Damn.
It doesn't even seem really like Fincher, but like,
I've heard the complete opposite actually. So,
yeah,
I've been
I
staying
hope
away
so. I
from
mean, I
the
want it to be good. I
consensus.
mean,
yeah.
I haven't
it's
watched the trailer
fucking-
either.
It's the peak this time, not even the valley.
It can't
so,
be
like,
Valley.
I don't know, like
Right.
it's got to be
That's not the
good.
pattern.
Like,
formula. The formula.
yeah, like,
That would throw off the universe if the pattern's off for Fincher films, right? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to believe.
Two in a row? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've been going through Spielberg. It's been fun. I don't know if you guys like Spielberg's movies, but they're pretty. He's got. I mean,
Like, what kind of stuff you've been watching?
I'm going through. I've watched like his oldest short film he ever made, and I watched like some of his TV shit he did. Not good, not good. It's got like little glimpses of like there's a filmmaker, but like, and then I got into Duel, which is his first like theatrical movie. Check it out. That movie's fucking fire. It's so good, and that's like his first technical movie. Like I guess it's a pretty good debut for him.
That's a
But
semi movie, yeah.
yeah, it's the whole movie is just a dude being chased by a semi driver. It's been like Joyride. If you've seen Joyride, I'm like, that's okay. Yeah, they took Duel. Like 30 years later, you just make another movie. But
hey, that's how it
Too
goes.
many
Right?
homages.
Yeah,
just
Or
rehash it.
ripping off.
Yeah.
Fighting other
Pretty
shit.
cool movie though, not gonna lie. Then Sugarland Express, decent, and then he does
Sugarland Express.
yeah, it's kind of like
Seems like a ridiculous name. I don't
it's
know.
like a cross country
Yeah,
like
like-
Thelma and Louise story, but it's funny, it's decent. But
Like, what year is this? Like 80s?
this was 77 for Duel, I believe, maybe earlier.
71, I believe, is what I saw.
Shit, yeah, okay, earlier, yeah,
Oh,
because
shit.
75 is Jaws,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
1971 was Duel.
Shit.
so it's like 71, 73 for Sugarland, then I think, and then 75 for Jaws.
You know, I haven't actually seen Jaws.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm
No
serious.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you
Pretty
good.
fucking joking?
Whoa, dude.
I'll just leave the podcast.
No, you're good.
I'll just
On,
go.
on this rewatch for Spielberg, I actually think I like Close Encounters more than Jaws. I don't know.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
I enjoyed Close Encounters when I first watched it.
I liked it
bought
a
it
lot.
without
I
like
think I've seen it,
knowing.
but I think I saw it when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewatch it. I mean, and after watching The
Yeah.
Fablemans, which kind of reveals like who Spielberg was as a kid and like what his family life was like, Close Encounters is like the closest thing to like a truth of like his, like a crazy dad who's like leaving his family and shit for reasons that his kids won't understand or like nobody will understand. Like, I don't know. It seems pretty honest and it's just like super entertaining. So
Nice. Weirdly, like I haven't seen ET, but I watched Close Encounters. And,
E.T.'s pretty
I have seen
similar-ish
ET, all right?
as far as like honesty goes.
Yeah.
But I made it all the way up to like Empire of the Sun. I watched The Color Purple, all the Indiana Jones ones from the original trilogy, and then Empire of the Sun. So
Wow, did you know that there was like an Indiana Jones TV show
I haven't
called
watched
Young
it.
Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I've heard.
Huh.
Heard it was not great. But
It's on Disney
heard
Plus.
tell.
I found it like because I was just searching Indiana Jones for some reason. I don't really know how I got there. It was just like a couple months ago, and yeah, I like looked through the first season, and there's only one season, so I'm like, this is probably
they gave up on
bad,
it.
right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably why there's only one season, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
I think that was it for Spielberg. No, actually, he made a movie called 1941. The absolute worst movie of his career.
About Pearl Harbor? Or
Yeah.
what?
It's basically like the night that Pearl Harbor was bombed or the day after like people in LA were scared that they were going to get bombed. And it's a comedy based on that. And it's got like Dan
Oh.
Aykroyd and John Belushi and shit. And you'd think it's like going to be good. And it's the worst movie. It's so fucking, I don't even want to talk. Like, it's just bad, dude. And it's just like
Makes
nothing's
you wanna
funny
spit,
in it.
huh?
Nothing's
Yeah.
funny. Like, it's just a bad attempt. That's by Spielberg. But,
yeah, they happen.
yeah.
Can't all be. Yeah.
But other than that, just like I'm caught up on like every TV show that's running right now that I want to watch.
You caught up on Reservation Dogs?
I need one episode, but yeah,
Yeah, I haven't watched the most recent, but
I'm
what have
liking
you
it,
thought
man.
of it so far?
I like
Yeah,
that
I
show a
liked it
lot.
too.
I like.
I love
It's,
the
I
first
don't
season.
know.
What's that?
I just loved the first season. I haven't watched the second.
The first season has like its own like contained story with like the grief of their friendship, and then like the second season kind of like brings it all to a fruition at the end. And this season, it's like they're kind of like deciding what they want to do now in their lives or like
Yeah,
their
I
next
feel like-
steps.
Yeah, they're like finding their own paths.
Mhm.
It seems like to me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like they've kind of dealt with the trauma, or like at least the friend loss. Like they went to the ocean. I got spoilers. I guess they got over that, but now it's like who's going to stay in the reservation, who's going to ultimately leave type of like questions. I feel like
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting that they brought in like this new character Maximus.
Yeah.
I don't know, and how he's like tied the older characters together, kind of.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like
I liked the
in
flashback episode a lot.
I was like trying to pick out like who's
who.
Those who the characters are, like based on their older versions and like the present.
Right.
Yeah. So like I think I got pretty much everybody, but I don't know.
Yeah. I do feel like I'm not ready for the show to end, honestly. I mean, not like the show doesn't feel like it's that ready to end. But as long as they can get there in like the last few episodes, I'll be satisfied because I don't know.
Do you know how many episodes are in a season? Is it 10 episodes?
I think it's 10. I want to say it's like 8 or 10, but I want to say 10.
Gotcha. So I got a couple more.
They're doing some episodes this season that are like the Deer Lady episode. I thought that was one of the most unique ones of the show, and it's trying to dig into some like hard truths in the real world.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of my favorite episodes of the season.
The way,
honestly, maybe like the latest episode I thought was good too. Cheese.
Yeah, they're all going fishing and shit. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that. I love the way that show cuts to titles at the end too. Like they don't. It's not always when you think it like when the hottest moment is in the episode, but like the way that they just like overlay it with the footage is just like so subtly done, and I just love it. I don't know, like the way that they've been like leaving their episodes this season has been kind of interesting, I guess. But
I guess I'm just kind of curious. What do you guys think of Taika, just like as a person?
We've talked a little bit on the channel.
Yeah,
you don't really like him.
Just like I think we've just talked about his ego. I think it's kind of blown up a little bit.
So, yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. I still think he makes like pretty good stuff. I mean, his earlier stuff.
Look, I mean, the Thor movies were ridiculous.
He has a movie coming.
I guess if you like take those out, I mean, like, what do you call
Jojo Rabbit's a 5-star movie for me.
Yeah,
like I love that fucking movie. So like on the basis of that movie, I respect his work. Yeah, I mean, he made Jojo Rabbit, and I think from there his career took a dive, honestly, but not in popularity, obviously, but like in quality.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think just with like this show, I mean, What We Do in the Shadows, I feel like kind of boosted him too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
Probably the Thor movies too, I would assume. But anyway, I only brought him up because, like, I mean, he was like one of the creators for this show, I'm pretty sure. And but he's from New Zealand, but like, I guess I didn't know if you guys knew that he's like
he's Aboriginal, right? Or he's
part of, so he's like a native, like whatever the natives are. I don't know if that's actually it of like New Zealand. So I feel like that's why he's like making this show, but it's like the natives of Native Americans and stuff.
Right.
Cool. Seems like a more personal story, or like a more truer story to like his experience.
Yeah, I think he was acted more of as like a producer because I think the guy's name is Sterling Harjo. He's like the real mind behind it. I think he kind of like nurtured him into like the show, into his own show. But
gotcha.
Because honestly, I don't feel a lot of Taika anymore in that show, which is to its credit.
Yeah.
So
probably good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been watching The Sopranos though. I'm in season 4. And somewhere in season 3, I finally like turned over to be like, man, this show's pretty good. So I'm actually enjoying it now, and I think I'm gonna get through it pretty quick, honestly. So that's a good feeling. It's good.
I just gotta get to season 4.
Season 3, just somewhere halfway through season 3, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a grind, but now I'm like into the family. I'm into the characters, and
oh shit! Yeah, did you finish How to with John Wilson?
I did. What a great show, man.
I did watch a couple episodes of that.
Oh yeah,
I was sad.
First 2
ended. I didn't know like the last episode I watched was the last episode until I'm like in it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is episode 6. Like there's only 6 episodes a season. Like,
yeah. Speaking of shows that I could like watch for like 10 seasons, dude. Like, I mean, good on him.
For 10 seasons.
I think so. I mean, as long as like he was in it, which obviously he's not, so that's good that he stopped it. like at the time that he knows he wants to. But damn, dude, I'm gonna miss that show. Like straight up, I want more. So
there were a couple pretty good episodes this season too. Like honestly, I think the one where he gets like the fucking Dance Dance Revolution game. I don't know. I think that's probably my favorite episode of the
workout
show.
one. How to work out, right?
In my opinion, I think that was like the best one. I don't know, because like
that's funny.
Like he brings in like real people too in that episode, and like they don't even know who he is, or like how like HBO didn't even fucking invite him to like the after party for the shit.
It's
like
crazy.
I don't know. I thought that episode was really interesting. I thought.
Yeah, I mean the second to last one I thought was pretty interesting. How he kind of is like messing with his format of like telling you some of the
one.
No, it's the one where he's by the end of it he has the car that's blown up. He like is outside of the hotel, and
yeah,
that one was like kind of toyed with the format.
Is someone really following him?
Yeah. But the last one, man, I mean, I legit like started almost tearing up when the guy was telling his story about what he did to himself in the end. Like when he goes to the organ place and then he meets that dude. Like that dude's story, like, I mean, that's what made that show so special, is like he pinpointed just such like individual people that like, and like each person has such a rich like well of history and like pain. And it's just like so crazy to like witness it in that show, especially with that last guy. It's just like a man living like with his like repercussions of his actions for like 50 years. And it's like straight up heartbreaking. Like it's just crazy. And that show is like, it's just got so much heart. It's so good.
Yeah. After the first episode, I think it's the first, maybe it's the second one, where he like goes down for like spring break or whatever.
And he just talks to that dude at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, I love this. Like,
right?
This is amazing. Like,
yeah, man.
It's so real. It's so raw. It's like, damn.
It's shocking too, that show, man. Some moments in there, you literally like your mouth drops and you're just like, what? Like, nah, man, good shit.
Yeah, I gotta watch more. I've been watching Last Man on Earth. That's kind of been the one that I've like returned to. Been watching, binging more. So
yeah, that's a funny one.
Funny. Will Forte, yeah.
I really liked that show because it has its ups and downs and its little arcs, because it literally moves like cross country and shit at points. But I really liked that show when it was like Jason Sudeikis in space. I don't know if you've gotten there yet.
Yeah.
That arc is so fucking good in that show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got the worms. Yeah.
That's some good shit.
Yeah, he made it back. Where am I at now? They got season 3 or very near the end.
Okay, so yeah, you're probably through it.
Yeah. Where he's like came back and they caught the virus and left Tucson and yeah,
that's a good one. I wish I had a proper ending, but it's decent throughout. So
I don't know why I just thought of this, but did AMC like recently merge with HBO or like whoever the fuck, I don't know, whatever fucking company HBO is owned by now? Or
I don't think so.
Because like I saw AMC stuff is on Max now.
AMC Plus, yeah. I think they have like a 6-month deal or something like that with HBO to like.
It's not like I want to watch any of that stuff, because I mean all that stuff is garbage. But like,
is it free? Can I watch Daryl Dixon?
I don't know. I don't even know if The Walking Dead was on there. All I saw was Fear the Walking Dead. So like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I hear that show's about to start up. I think the Daryl spin-off.
Like he's got his own show.
They just spun off all the characters. Yeah, they got Daryl. They got
France
Maggie.
now, baby.
I read the synopsis of that show, and it's like Daryl escorts a young girl across the apocalyptic wasteland who may be the key to humanity's survival or savior. I'm like, holy fuck!
Never heard of the war. Talking about homages and stealing.
Like, this is stealing. This is when you're not improving it. Like,
straight ripping. Yeah. Didn't he? I feel like he did it. Didn't he do a video game too, where he did something
like Death Stranding? I think is his.
Yeah, is that it?
I didn't play it. I just heard it wasn't very good.
Me neither. Yeah, but I thought it was like a similar story where he's like lugging an infant
Cross country.
Post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
thing.
No.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
think
his
that other guy
shtick.
from Boondock Saints is doing these days?
That's a good question.
The last thing I remember him in was Dexter season 8. I don't think
Oh,
so.
it's
like-
Oh,
A
God, I don't
cameo,
know.
or like was he in
No,
the
he's
season, like
he's in the
a
season.
recurring character?
Yeah,
Gotcha. I I do have Paramount Plus. I should watch Dexter. I just
it's a great show up until it's
It is.
not.
It is.
But
until
Hey,
it's
whoa,
not.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Take it easy. Have you watched New Blood yet?
I did watch it. Yeah, it is better than some of the other ones, but it doesn't recapture the same level of like heightened
It
So,
doesn't, for
is
sure.
that-
But
Is it
the
only one
first few
season?
seasons of Dexter, like up till
peak.
a certain point, which I think you know the point.
I
There's
even
one
think it's
season after that
better
where
after
it's-
that, but
Yeah, there's a couple. I think it's 1 or 2 seasons even after that that it's still like fire.
it's
It's
decent.
good television.
I think up to season 7 is like good, pretty like. I mean, the first few seasons
I
are
could agree with that.
peak television, and then up to season 7 is like pretty good television, and then season 8 is
Yeah.
like, you guys gave up. Cool.
What
Yeah.
happened? Yeah.
I wonder if they ran out of source material because I know they're based on books.
Some of them are, yeah.
So
That 8th season, I think they were just
How many
wrap it up.
episodes per season?
Third.
Are there like
This is
20
only 13.
episodes?
I'm gonna say
13?
10 to 13.
That's
Yeah.
doable. All
Sounds
right, if
right.
it was like 20 episodes a season, like I can't do that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough, man.
I mean, I binge shit, but like, I don't know.
That's why The Sopranos is only 13, but they have 6 seasons, so it definitely like stacks
I
up.
tried,
Yeah.
like got it.
Yeah,
Same.
they're
Maybe I
50-minute episodes every like it's like an hour long every episode, so take some
Yeah.
time.
It's like 2 max in a sitting. Then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, take a break.
If it's that long, if it's like a 30-minute episode of something, it's like fucking, let's cook. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't
Uh,
think I've been watching much movies other than that. Yeah.
yeah. You watching Futurama still,
Mhm.
Joe?
I think I watched like the first like 2 or 3 episodes in the night. I haven't watched since.
I've been keeping up. It's 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 got some heart there, but it's just like
Like, is it worth it?
I mean, the whole last episode was like vaccine.
That's how they brought
jokes.
those Yetis back, like for a Christmas episode or something.
Oh yeah. It's very like, I mean, I guess that's what Futurama has always been, where it's making jokes about present day while being in the year 3000 or whatever, but like it's like too much now for me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're doing like COVID jokes. So it's like,
I mean,
The
that's
horse is
kinda-
dead.
yeah, we're late.
Let it
Like it's
die.
too late,
Yeah.
Right?
bro.
Like that's kind of the vibe I was getting. Even like the like meta shit in the first episode about like being on Hulu now.
Hmm.
Like I feel like that was like
Hmm.
the whole episode, and I
Yeah,
feel
it's,
like
like, too
that
much.
kind of like bit has been done like too much. Like I feel like that's I don't know.
Too
Yeah.
meta.
Maybe that's what I'm getting with their like humor. It's just like too
Yeah, the only other show
been done too many times.
I
don't
was
know.
watching, I'm still
Family Guy
watching,
problem.
is Winning Time. But to be quite honest, I was like really high on that show for the last few weeks, and it's just kind of been like progressively like getting not as good this season, but it's still slightly entertaining if you care. But
I know we talked about getting into basketball more. I don't know if that'll.
hmm.
After watching The Last Dance, I was like, it doesn't get any better than this, right?
That's fucking
Yeah.
fire in
Yeah,
the
but, like,
veins. That documentary.
Winning
That
Time
shit's too
isn't
good.
like a documentary, right? It's
No,
like more
it's
like,
like
historical
yeah,
fiction.
Dramatic.
There's like a word
Dramatic,
for
yeah.
that or whatever.
Yeah,
Dramatic
I'm trying to think of it.
reenactment or
Yeah.
something like that.
It's dramatized for sure. And it's like the style is like too fucking showy at some points, but that's Adam McKay's like shtick. So
I was gonna say that just sounds like an Adam McKay move.
yeah, I mean some of it's cool, but it's like that's a show that toes the line constantly of like cringe to quality. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's about it for me.
I started the Ahsoka show.
Bro, why?
Oh.
Bro, why?
So
What
like
are you doing? What are you
Why?
doing?
look, like I the
Explain
first two
yourself. Come on.
episodes.
Take your
Okay,
time.
so like basically it's like a direct sequel to like the Rebels show.
Okay, I've heard good things about
And like
that.
it's kind of interesting because like the Clone Wars show like stopped before they could complete their last season, and then they did end up like completing the last season, and like it basically like caught up to episode 3, and like it had this like final arc, and it was like dealing with like Mandalore and Darth Maul and shit. It was actually
Yeah,
pretty fucking
that
cool.
was cool. Yeah,
I assumed that like this was what they're doing with the Rebels show, except it's like live action. But like even so, like the first 2 episodes were good, and then like these last 2 episodes have just been
Where is it
Speaking
on
of
the
dead
scale
horses,
of Obi-Wan Kenobi to what's the best new Star
Boba
Wars
Fett?
thing?
Oh,
This first season of Mandalorian. Where's the
or Rogue One maybe.
Rogue One?
so
Yeah,
like
maybe.
I mean I'd say like the first 2 episodes of this show, I mean close, but these last 2 episodes are probably closer to Obi-Wan.
So huge fall
I
off.
would say it's way better than Obi-Wan, at least. I'll tell you
Really?
that.
Like way
the
better?
good news
Dude,
is
okay, it's definitely. I would say yeah. Like at least the first 2 episodes are
Okay.
way better than Obi-Wan.
I
Like
mean,
that
I
show
need to
was
hear some of
bad.
this if I'm gonna watch it, Joe. Because like the only
Dude,
other
like
Star Wars show I need to watch is Andor. So
then I'd say
Mm.
just watch the first episode, and if you like it, maybe continue
well,
watching. If you don't like it, just stop right there. That's all you
the
need to
fifth
do.
episode's gonna be in theaters, so
I
you
did
can
what?
see that,
watch it
yeah.
there.
So like
Hmm.
basically, I'm
They're
just kind of
desperate to make their
confused.
money back.
Like all of episode 3 was just like them flying around in their ship, like dodging fucking lasers, and it's like 30 or 40 minutes of this, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, did you just run out of material and have to
What's
Yeah.
stretch this out?
Blew their
what's so
load in the first
crazy?
two.
Because like the first 2 episodes didn't seem like that. Like they kind of were filled with plot, like
Yeah,
or at
that's all
least
their
like they had
budget.
shit going on.
Yeah.
Like the
Then you
characters
got to go to
were kind
bottle
of
episode,
interesting. Like
third
yeah,
episode.
so
That's what's so crazy about like these newer shows that are like 10 episodes. Why do you, it's not like it's like a cable run television, so they need to get 20 episodes so they get that ad revenue. Or like, oh, their budget ran out, so now we have to have one bottle episode. Why are there so many bottle episodes or filler episodes in these newer shows when it's not like they're getting ad revenue or I don't know.
Probably
It's
because they
just like
just
I don't
want
know.
to run it for a certain amount of weeks for their like scheduling.
exactly.
It's like we need to have 8 weeks covered, so let's fucking make sure that we got 8 weeks. Like we
Yeah.
don't give a
The
fuck about like.
machine, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
I
machine.
mean, Disney is in a constant state
like,
now of like anxiety and
This
second guessing, but
Get something out. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of wrote that one off honestly
It
because
sucks to
Obi-Wan
see how
burned
it
me
goes
the
wrong.
fuck out. I was like,
Dude,
Yeah.
no.
that show was so bad. Like, look, like I guess I've been getting more through those audiobooks on Thrawn, and I'm about to start the ones that take place after episode 6, which is like from what I've looked up about them, these like those books were what like episode 7, 8, and 9 like should have been like if they were gonna make more movies.
Right.
But then Disney just like totally fucked it up.
And J.J. Abrams came and said, I want to make my movie.
Yeah.
Mystery box.
But
Who's
I don't
Ray?
know. Look, I mean like yeah. Like I guess like what I liked about this show though, like so far, at least for the first few episodes, pretty much for the episodes up until it is now. I mean, yeah, it's basically just a continuation of the Rebel show, and it doesn't really seem like it's like universe building to me. Like it has basically nothing to do with like shit that happened in like the Mandoverse or Mandalorian shit.
Is that a
So
good
like
thing?
I think that's good because I
Mhm.
don't know. I feel like most of the time, like I almost said Marvel, like fucking
Basically.
Disney is just
Same
about their
dick.
fucking like throwing in all their fucking world building shit to make
Yeah.
a huge fucking franchise.
They
And that's like
fucked up.
what Star Wars shows have been like. Like
Mhm.
the whole last season of Mandalorian was that. So like I feel like that's like kind of refreshing that this doesn't really seem like that. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just like
No,
seeing it in
that's
a different view. Because like
honestly.
I mean, what they've been doing pretty much now for the first couple episodes, they've been trying to find Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. So like at the end of the Rebels show, they like go into fucking like hyperspace with these whales. They're called purgils. They can also do like hyperspace travel shit. They're just weird space whales.
All right.
And they go to some unknown look. Like they warp to some place that they don't know where they went. So like they don't know where these people like they don't know where Thrawn and Ezra Bridger are at.
Are they a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
All right, they're trying to find him.
Is that where they went?
They haven't found him yet. I don't know. I don't know where they're at. Like, I mean, I kind of know where they're at, but like, so like, yeah, it's basically just picking up that. Like, Ahsoka and Sabine are looking for Ezra, and then the bad people are looking for Thrawn.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just explaining it to you. Like, I don't.
Well, I think that's the problem.
I don't know what you want from me.
I think the problem is that like I don't really care. Like the Mandalorian season 2 is where that whole franchise. I mean, before that, when they made the 7, 8, 9, they fucked up. But like,
to me personally,
they had a little bastion of hope with Mandalorian.
Like, I understand like that viewpoint because like most of the Star Wars shit, yeah, like why would I care? But like this is actually connected to another show. Like these characters have had 4 seasons of shit. Like that's why I am personally connected to these characters. But like,
I get you.
You probably are not because you've never seen these characters before.
I mean, honestly, it's a lose-lose with Star Wars because like you got the diehard fans and then you got the people who want like a good movie and like you just can't do both. I don't know. It's just like clearly your track record shows like it's too hard to balance that act. You know, like.
Yeah, the movie showed that. I'm not near because I watched Clone Wars, but I didn't watch Rebels, and I watched Mando, but I don't watch any. So I'm like I got very sporadic like ideas. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking and choosing the stuff that I know like I'll like.
I don't need deep lore, honestly, in Star Wars. Maybe it's just that's the kind of guy I am. I don't need extended lore.
I like the seeds of it. Like I like to be like teased that like there's like this pocket of the galaxy that like we don't really know about and. That's what makes this character, these people like this, so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again. What did you say?
Me?
Yeah.
I like the seeds of like that. There are deep lore. Like there's
the thing after that about the corner of the universe or whatever, or corner of the galaxy.
Yeah, I like the idea that like we get like little windows into like different pockets or different windows of like parts of the galaxy, but I don't need to be taken on like a fucking tour.
Yeah,
through it all.
So like I guess I don't know if I explained this before. The Thrawn books I've been like listening to, like the audiobooks. He's like this weird like blue humanoid guy, and his race is called the Chiss. I don't know if I brought it up before, but they're in like a fucking outer corner of the galaxy you like can't get to. So like they're basically doing shit like in a spot. But like that I don't know. Those were from like books before like Disney took over Star Wars. I mean,
I guess like my thing with Star Wars is like you look at the first 3 movies and there's like deep like lore there, but it's very visually oriented and like experience oriented. And dude, then like
if
after
you look
those
up, like,
movies,
old posters and like shit, like just promoting the original Star Wars movie, like even in like other countries and shit, it is like visual. Like
that's an experience.
Like,
it's a space experience.
Fucking image of Luke. And like with the like
that is
that's iconic. Yeah, like
it's like after they made those first 3 and there was like a hunger for Star Wars lore, and then George Lucas was like, let me just fucking tell you whatever I want to fucking say now. Like I just don't think like that was the avenue to go. Like I would prefer like individualized attempts rather than like widespread like fucking galaxy lore. But that's like just my personal taste. So like,
no, I think that's why I liked like Visions so much is because like it did that. Like each episode was like, it was first of all like they're all different, like stylized differently, but it's also like look at all this, but look at this cool shit that you don't really like didn't think was possible in the Star Wars universe, but like kind of makes sense. Like it's like why not?
And I guess like it is the visual aspect too, because it's like it's all like different kinds of like animation and shit. Like I think on the newest season, like they even got like Studio Ghibli to do at least like 1 or 2 episodes.
That's cool.
I mean, that's why the first Star Wars blew up, is because you had never seen anything like it, like literally, and like the roots of Joseph Campbell are there, but like in all the extended lore, that's lost. It's basically just like.
So like,
Star Wars
would
hunger,
it blow your mind to like say that like Heir to the Empire, the first book that Thrawn like came out in, was written before Episode 1 came out?
No, I 100% understand that. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Within
and I don't know. I guess like I just think that's kind of interesting.
it is
Like,
interesting.
yeah.
I guess my stance here and like the issue is that like the first 3 movies are, like I said, experience based, and then when George Lucas said he didn't want to do any more after that, he basically just decided to dump fucking lore out of his head into like novels that like don't really give you an experience, they give you knowledge. I don't know, so it's like it's super cool, and if I was more invested, it would be everything, but I'm not.
I guess
so
I have
like
a question. So like, what do you mean by the novels? Like George Lucas dumping out stuff to these novels?
I mean, whatever the
George
novelizations
Lucas-
are for the books or whatever.
George Lucas hasn't written any of the novels that I'm aware of. He just like talks to the authors, and then everybody else writes them.
That's exactly the like. That's what I'm saying is like to just like expand upon an idea that's cool.
It's basically like fan
Doesn't
fiction at that
give
point.
you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just like it's eating itself at a certain point and not creating something. It's just like I don't know, spewing shit now.
Look,
But
I think we can all agree that like after 6 movies, they probably should have stopped. They probably should have stuck with George saying he didn't want to make any more. That's probably how it should have stayed.
Disney don't take no, dog. They don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
They'll make what they want to make.
that man just gave up, I think, on his own like idea. Honestly, George Lucas, I think he just cashed out and was like, I don't care about fans anymore. Like,
he's like, I made what I wanted to make. It was cool.
Yeah.
Like, let me sit back.
Yeah, and then they brought him back 20 years later. It reinforced why he didn't want to do anything anymore, and then like he sold his company. I don't know.
I probably would have done the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
Made a killing, so hey.
Yeah, I mean he's fine. He's living on his little ranch.
I knew like it's not gonna help but kind of get bastardized over time, so fuck it.
Yeah.
People will write their fanfic.
And no one will be happy because it's not their fanfic.
And it's not enough. It's just never enough, It's you gotta have more.
It's not what I built up in my head when I read this. So. But I don't know. It always goes back to Star Wars being shit and Disney fucking ruining the world, I guess.
The fucking blight on the earth, Disney. Thank you.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, honestly, I'm calling it right now based on like what happened at the end of the latest episode, which I don't even understand how. Like,
You don't think about it.
Ahsoka falls off this cliff,
It's
and
10,
then
bro. You
she's
just gotta feel it.
randomly in this like.
Don't think about it.
The Soul Stone. She's
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't think about it. No, it's like a fucking weird ass like in between universe thing that she just is in now at the end of the episode, and I'm like, what the
Force?
fuck? Like
Something with the Force?
I'm calling it
Became
right
one.
now.
with the Force.
They're gonna try to create a multiverse in Star Wars.
No way. No way.
No.
Really?
Come on.
If they do, that's
Honestly,
Why would you not just be like?
I'm
Galaxy to
wondering
Galaxy, world
if
to
they're
world?
gonna create a multiverse in Star Wars and then rewrite, like remake episodes 7, 8, and 9.
yeah, it'd be like
Oh,
those are the only ones that aren't
Like,
canon
I'm not
now.
even joking. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that might happen. Like,
Dude, that is a
Hmm.
bad sign where it's like, all right, we lost all this money. We gotta we gotta find a way to write this into the canon and remake this. That is not.
If they do that, that's
It's desperate. It just
Look,
screams.
all right, guys. I'm just saying. Like I'm watching the show. Like after this, I'll determine if I want to continue watching Star Wars. Because,
That's
like,
crazy,
I'm
man.
at the point. I'm at the point with Marvel where like I don't continue watching their shit. Like I didn't watch the newest show. I'm probably not gonna watch the Marvels movie. Marvels.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna
Yeah,
watch
no.
that. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't
feel
know,
that.
like. So
The last thing I rewatched or like enjoyed watching was Guardians 3, and James Gunn
Yeah.
is in DC now, so there's nothing keeping me there.
Man,
dude,
what a good
didn't,
writer.
like Blue Beetle do
Okay.
pretty bad too.
I
in
mean,
my
not great.
head.
Not great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of just want the fucking DC universe to just die. Too.
Oh, I did watch The Flash
the
too.
Flash. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
that
yeah?
reminded
Forgot.
me. Yeah.
Had you guys watched it before or not?
No.
No.
I waited.
What did you think?
Okay. Listen, I had fun with it. I will say I had like fun watching it.
Yeah.
The CGI was like a little jarring.
Hey, what
a lot
about
of
my
times.
what about
Terrible.
my man Nick Cage Superman?
Oh shit! That took
That's
me
what
out
I
of it,
wanted
dude.
to talk about earlier.
That
Talk
took me
about
out of
just
it. I was like,
gimmicky shit, dude. Like,
yeah, you turn
unheard
it.
of.
I mean, you know
movie
what
into a
that's from,
meme.
though, right? I mean,
yeah,
did
from
we-
a
I'm
fucking
assuming we
lore
talked about
drop
it
of
before.
like,
The Superman movie that never got made.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
but it was
man.
fucking Tim Burton.
Yeah, he was gonna make it.
Yeah, just fucking wild. And I'm pretty sure, like, anyway, like Tim Burton, I'm pretty sure made that fucking Batman and Robin movie with George Clooney.
Yeah.
Like, I
David
wonder
Bowie.
if like
The
it would have
first
been
two,
like
I
their
think.
own connected thing. Like Tim
Batman
Burton would have
Returns.
had his or
The
he
Tim
would have his
Burton
own
verse.
fucking like yeah.
I think that's kind of the
Burton
idea
verse.
that they were going for when they were
Probably,
thinking it.
yeah.
But
That's like fucking late 90s.
yeah,
What a time to be alive.
I mean, I will say, I
Holy
think
fuck.
Ezra Miller played the Flash the best I've seen him do it yet in that
I was
movie.
surprised. Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't
the
mind
guy's a lunatic, but I never liked him in the other movies. And in this movie, I enjoyed his performance.
Me too.
Did you
surprisingly.
though?
It was fine. I didn't go to the movie theater like out of,
Okay.
I guess, like,
Spite?
yeah, I just didn't want to like support it in a way.
Yeah,
So I
oh,
was
that's
like waited for it to
fair.
come on HBO Max. But I mean, I'm glad he's never going to do it again. But this was the best time he did it. If that means something.
What did you guys watch like the CW Flash at all?
I tried, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons, and it was all right. It was fine. Couldn't tell you which one I liked more, but
CGI
yeah,
was some wonky shit, bro, in that movie.
The network, or yeah.
Why?
CGI was bad.
The babies, dude.
The babies were terrible, and I thought the like visualization of like the turning back time was a cool idea, but it kind of just like never was executed to the way it should have been. Yeah.
See, they needed to
So
do
weird.
like the Quicksilver thing they kind of did in the X-Men movies, where it's like you see all of it going in slow-mo and then just like snap back to it all happening. I think that would have like really
what's with like the waves of like, it just doesn't make sense to me too when you think
Even
about
like the
it.
physics of him like moving around and shit it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
He's like
him like touching
ice
stuff,
skating.
like
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think what DC really has going for it is like they have a cinematic nature that Marvel just straight up doesn't have. Like they can when in the Flash, I don't want to spoil it, but when the creature comes out when he's like turning back time too many times, he like this purple creature comes out and like runs up and punches him out of like the time warp or whatever the fuck. Was he blue? Whatever. I mean, that was
it's
sick.
like blue electricity. I mean, like,
okay, yeah, that was sick. I mean, that was like, these are the moments that like you want to experience. And like when they're fighting the soups at the end and there's like the differences in like speed and stuff like that. It's like they actually have like power levels that you can like have fun with. I guess like Marvel, and you never feel that. It's all just like one note fucking like punches and hammers and I don't know.
It's either you're on like fucking god tier or you're
punches and hammers.
Punches and hammers, baby. Yeah. That's just like DC. At least I feel things when like I feel the moments like I should. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
dude. What did you think of Michael Keaton Batman?
I dug it.
It's fine.
I was cool with it.
It was cool, but like at the same time, it felt too unearned and like member berries for me. So like,
interesting.
Shoehorned in a little bit. Got to get that.
The time noodle thing. Maybe I just
didn't really make any sense.
That's been though. Okay, I was like, I didn't.
Makes no sense.
Maybe I'm not like rationalizing it in my head right, but it's like, what?
I don't know. If you watch the Loki, it's like similar. It's like, oh, time never. It splits off into different branches. You know?
But how does it change the past of like?
Not destroying.
Because like Bruce Wayne is like older though. Like I mean, he's like an old guy. Like I mean, time.
When you change the future, you change
like
the past.
Or like less years or something, or more years. Because like even fucking Barry's former self was only like 18. In what should be present day. Yeah, it was. I don't know.
You know,
I don't know how that.
We'll just chalk it up to fucked up.
Just put the spaghetti noodles on the table and crunch them and hope that the audience nods their heads. That'll be a fucking. I don't know. And why is Batman explaining time travel and fucking multiple? I'm just like, that dude doesn't know shit. Like,
he's some fucking billionaire, dude. Like, I don't know why everybody thinks Batman is like a genius. Like,
why would he know about that stuff at all? I just don't like. Right. Especially from like the Tim Burton Batman. See, it's like all very contained in those movies. So it's like,
weird. Oh my god, yeah. Imagine like George Clooney showing up instead of Michael Keaton.
I mean, I don't have to imagine, right?
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, if he was like the main Batman, they went.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like in the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean that cameo at the end too. I can't believe it. It's
yeah, I
like
was
it's like
surprised.
they're just trying Marvel. Like they don't know how to like be individually unique. I don't know, especially for the Flash. That seemed like a shit show just to get that movie made. So
Yeah. They
But
were
it's like a
going for wow
copy of
factor.
like fucking. I mean, what Marvel's been doing in like their other, I don't know, in their shit. You know, with like the other Spider-Man
Quantum
guys
and-
coming in
yeah.
from the other franchises and shit
yeah,
like
I'm like,
that. Like
oh
that's like
fuck.
what Marvel's doing nowadays. I mean, like
Yeah.
DC did it too.
Yeah, they're like, dude, did you see Spider-Man No Way Home and how much the fucking audience
And
ate that
Star
shit
Wars
up?
will do it soon.
That like straight up depresses me if they like.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's not a multiverse far, far away. You
Yeah,
fucks.
Yeah, that's-
All right, that's all. That's
It's not
all I
even-
got.
It's not even a single galaxy anymore either.
What? They've gone out of the galaxy?
Uh-oh.
I
Why?
don't
did it.
know. You
Why?
gotta watch the
It's a little
show.
closer. It's a little closer. It's not that far away. It's not that long ago.
Dude, Star Wars is going to be going to Earth within 10 years.
God, I
Like,
fucking
Earth
hope
will be
not.
in the Star Wars universe within 10 years.
Yeah, the calm Terrans.
I'll take a lightsaber.
Guys, that's all I got.
I want the
Please.
fucking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching anything else. That's pretty much
Yeah.
all I've got.
All right. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I personally have some homework on my plate. I'm gonna watch
Yeah, I was
Django
writing a lot of stuff
and
down.
Inglorious.
yeah, kind of just
But it
reference
looks
them.
like the Inglorious Bastards, the one that was made, the old one. I guess the only thing that's similar about it is he bought the rights to the name so he could name his movie that.
Hmm.
But the plot is completely different.
Yeah, I think you just like the name or like the style or like
Yeah.
the.
But with Django, we'll see.
Yeah, I might check them out too, actually, just to kind of be able to give a reference
I'm
to.
kind
it,
of
so.
excited about Django because it's Sergio Corbucci, so I feel like it's going to be a great spaghetti western.
I
Right
mean,
up my
he
alley,
talks
so-
about him in Once Upon a Time,
Yeah,
right?
Once Upon a
Mhm.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll check them out too, but maybe before we watch the movies. So I probably won't check them out by
Yeah.
next week. But
Yeah.
next week, Pulp
Cool.
Fiction, fucking
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Sounds to me
That's
good,
gonna be a
good
good
week.
week.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, I'm excited. I'll see you guys then. And yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for
Sounds
listening.
good.
Sounds good.
See you next week.